Howdy, howdy. How's it, cracking? How you doing? How you doing, Zizzy? I'm doing good. I am not at work, so I'm feeling good. I forgot something, didn't I? We get that going. I have a lot of things open. God, my computer's desktop is a nightmare. Let's go to there, that folder, open that. But no, I'm doing good. Just not doing anything for today. I'm just hanging out, so. Hi, how you doing, Abdius? That's a good horse. Whose horse is it? There we go. There it is. Let's get it refreshed so that way it doesn't do the weird thing. Have a Pokemon battle. Oh, I'm not even done with the game yet. I don't even know if... Is my Switch able to connect to the internet right now? Well, I can connect to the internet right now. I don't know how the online thing works. But also, like, I'm not even, like, set up to battle anyone. I don't have, like, a team or anything. We're still trying to make our way through the story. It is a good horse. I do really like it. I don't know how you found it, but I do really like it. They have some good modes. I'm looking at their other ones they got listed. Those are some good ones. The gun is really funny. I do really like the gun. Does the horse evolve? I think it'll be good. I'm not really gonna battle or anything. I think I'm just gonna try to make some progress and go through it. Oh, that's pretty good. It's a pretty good horse. Locked via channel points. I need to look at how any of that stuff works. I'm trying to remember what we were doing. It's been a minute, and it's been a very long minute. Work's been exhausting, so I'm really glad that I'm not doing any more of that today. I do not want to talk to anyone. I'm so sick of, like, work drained my social battery to, like, 0. As, I work retail. Yeah, I mean, like, most people are cool. It's just, like, it's just my social battery is just, like, destroyed. But I wanted to hang out and play some Pokemon. Yeah. It wasn't too bad. It was just very busy. Nope. How's it going? Merry Eevesmas. We're just playing some Pokemon and chilling out. How you doing? I'm trying to figure out what I want to do after Pokemon once we beat this and do the thing. Abdius, thank you. Thank you for the pillow follow. We're just doing some chilling. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do after this, because I got some stuff on, like, Steam and all that, too. I mean, we're probably not going to finish this today, but I got some stuff on Steam and all that I want to do. But I also have some things on my PS4 I want to do. But we got some options. I've also just been into Minecraft lately, which is pretty dope. Maybe we'll spend some time playing Bombing, a graffiti sandbox. I also own Exapunks. I don't know if that's gonna be something I share or something I just do by myself. Depends. I guess I'll have to check it out and see. But Exapunks looks really cool. Barry was talking about it. I think it was on someone's thing. We were in Paul, and he brought it up. That looks like a really fun, like, coding game, which I would love to play, which I already own. I've been addicted to the Inscription Casey mod, because, oh boy, is the Inscription Casey mod fun. I own Staxel. My Secret Santa gift from me and my friend's Discord group was Subway Midnight, which looks super dope. It was a game on my wish list that I just really want to play. I have a lot of stuff, but I've been really getting the itch to do the Final Fantasy 12 New Game Minus thing. My favorite shiny? It's probably Baneri or Lopunny. I really like the pink and brown. I think they look really good together. Yeah, I really enjoy Minecraft. Kerbal Space Program, I did not play Kerbal Space Program, but it looks fun. It looks like it'd be a fun thing to just kind of fiddle with and figure out and stuff. It's just been one of those things where I've always had like something else I was more interested in doing before Kerbal, but it's always been in like the side, like in the back of my head being like, I want to play Kerbal, but never like the main thing, you know. Sorry, replying to a message. Yeah, like the Kerbals look really fun and all that, and also I like the idea of just playing like a fun, like physics-y puzzle thing. We're going the wrong way. I think we're supposed to be going over here. Kerbal looks really fun though. I haven't played anything like that in a long time, like very like technical, thinky type stuff. Gastrodon. Yeah, and sometimes I like that kind of thing. Sometimes that's just the kind of thing I'm looking forward to. I don't think we need to catch Gastrodon. We have a, what do you call it? Also, that's not a path forward. Well, we can surf. We have surf. We'll let the idiot take us. Okay, there's nothing down here. There's probably like an invisible up in the corner or something. There's Chatot. My first playthrough of the original Diamond, Chatot was like my main bird. I didn't use Staraptor for the longest time. I do really like Chatot. We should try and catch him. He's just really cool. I mean, I bet people have, just I've always been happy. I'm always the type who never really expects anything though. So like if I get anything at all, I'm usually like, wow, you didn't have to. You know, that kind of a thing. Yeah, Chatot's really nice. He's definitely like one of my, oh, I should have just thrown a quick ball in the very beginning. What am I doing? I forgot I had quick balls. Oh, maybe we can catch him on a Pokeball. I mean, I guess that, I think that mostly like proves his stuff with the odds. Like, with that many snakes, they're probably agitated already, so leaving with only one is impressive. What's a good name for a Chatot? Chatot. Tater Tot. Thankfully, he doesn't evolve, so we don't have to worry about things changing. Well, like, even when I was, like, younger in high school, my tia, she would constantly, like, be like, give me a list of everything you want. I'm like, I don't know what I want. I'm pretty content. I don't know. I was like, socks. I need socks because I go through so many. Because I couldn't drive with it for the longest time, and I walked, like, 2 miles to work. I walked on my feet. I wore out socks like no other. And she got really mad at me for asking for socks. She's like, I'm not getting you socks. And I'm like, I need them. You'd be saving me money. That's what I need. The book? Yeah. What do you mean from the size? I really like that book, by the way. I own it. It's on my shelf. It's a really good book. We should probably use Moonlight and play it safe. Well, it's because I spent the longest time being like, I don't know what I want. I was pretty happy at the time, and I didn't have like any free time for anything. I was like always either at school or like at work, so something practical was exactly what I was wanting, especially as someone who walked a lot, like socks and shoes. That's what I needed. That's what I would have liked, because I went through a lot. I was buying new shoes like every 2 months. But no, yeah, My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness, fantastic book. Like I showed during the manga thing, I have all of it. It's very good. We were running a double bat. Oh right, because he was looking away. I was just walking a lot. Like I did, my whole job was me running around on asphalt like almost all day. I was on my feet when I wasn't. I had to walk like a couple miles to school. Or not a couple miles to work, a couple miles home. Like I walked a lot. I was wearing out my shoes. Oh, yeah, you know what? That's fair. That's fair, Nib. That's just a, like, thankfully that's a really good book, though. Like, they didn't give you a bad book. That makes a lot more sense now, though. I mean, I recommend that book to everyone if they're, like, into that kind of a story. It's very good, very interesting mental health story. Hey, at least they didn't give you her 4th book, My Alcoholic Escape from Reality. That'd be a more concerning one. Is that what it's called? It's something like that. It's like all the way on the other side of the room. I'm not gonna go check. How do I come across these books? It was a decently famous book for like a hot second. But no, that's by the same person who did My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness, which went like semi-viral in like the manga community for a minute there. In like the side that reads like shoujo and like basically the side that isn't like pure shonen collections. It went like semi-viral. They're very good. They're autobiography manga. They're actually very, very good. But like sometimes when reading them, I have to put them down and take a break and do a lay down. They can be a lot. But they're very, I love the art in them. The physical print editions have like this 2-color thing where it's like all black and white and then only like pink or orange, depending on which book it is, as the only colors they have written down. They're very nice looking. I like that minimal color palette use. Yeah, he's walking. Yeah, they're good. They're just, like I said, they're just autobiographies of, like, a woman who's a mangaka and, like, kind of struggled with some mental health stuff. Sometimes he needs an audience. I was just trying not to ignore all the trainers that we went past, so we're just, like, battling some random dudes. I'm not even paying attention to what they're talking about. We're moving down the line. Yeah, the tricky thing right now is I have so many games that I wanna do after this. I don't know which ones. Cause like you gotta remember we have both like I do want to do Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel when that comes out. Cause I'm so hyped for that. We're gonna do that when it comes out. Cause I'm gonna be playing it. And I really want to do Atelier Sophie 2 when that comes out at the end of February. Yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of what the Pokemon thing just is. It's just kind of chilling out while Pokemon does whatever. That's how I feel half the time when doing things. I mean, that's fine. That's kind of like the vibe we got anyways. That's kind of the vibe we got anyways. think Headbutt would work better than Bounce because we got Stab. Oh, I was just saying I really want... Hey, T-Dragon. I was just saying I really want to play Master Duel when that comes out, and that's, like, one of the high priorities on the list of, like, when things come out. I just want to... I'm going to play that on stream probably at least a couple times. And, you know, play through some matches in that, try to crack some packs, play some cards. I'm very excited for it. Yeah, and the biggest thing I pulled from that was, like, looking at, like, people who translated it and stuff was, like, the monetization model that they're going for. I hope they don't change it, because from what I saw, I really like that. Because it looks like they'll have, like, special packs you can buy that are, like, themed after specific decks and stuff like that. Okay, we're just gonna baton pass this. Gastrodon is surprisingly giving us shit. But I also really like, it looks like they have a really good, like, amount of, like, a card you grind down to get, like, cards of the same rarity, like, with card crafting and stuff. It looks decently, it looks balanced in, like, a pretty fair way that also is, like, you know, in their favor. My biggest fear was Duel Links. My biggest fear was they just do Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links again. But I'm excited for it. I'm just waiting for that release. So far, it's still only winter 2021. That's all we know so far. So it's gonna be soon. The question is just when soon. I'm excited though. Play some single player stuff. Maybe get like a free Monarch starter deck. Learn how to play Magic Key or whatever. What was it like Weathercrafters? There's some deck that's like newer that I don't know. That has like, there's like a single player mode, so if I don't feel like playing the online ranked, which I'm gonna be playing a lot of online ranked. Yeah, but like when it comes to like business 2021, winter 2021 goes on to like March if you're looking in like business model language, something like that. Though like in terms of that language, there's still length of time. It's basically until winter is over and spring is like getting close to starting. Something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited to play it. I'm excited to have like finally have an official Yu-Gi-Oh thing to support and a way to play that isn't gonna force me to dedicate as much time and money as like physical cards. There does seem to be like a single player for like free-to-play people, as well as like their pack system where it looks like the special packs themed after specific decks are a thing, which is nice. We're not quite sure how you get like the bulk of things, but like those special packs seem like a good step in the right direction. We've seen enough to where I'm pretty excited for it. The biggest thing I was holding out my opinions on was just the we saw the monetization model, because that was the biggest thing that was up in the air all the way until now. I don't know, I'm excited. Because, like, as much as I like the fan Yu-Gi-Oh! Simulators online, there's just something that just feels weird about using them. That I'm excited to finally be able to get, like, an officialness to play and support. Maybe I'll do, like, testing on, like, YGO Omega or something, and then play on the legit thing. Because I want to support the games I like, right? But also, like, this gives me a nice way to play it. And it seems to be made by someone who actually cares and stuff. Yeah, I want to play in the pool, not the kiddie pool. And I want to avoid, I really, really want to avoid, what do you call it? What's the fucking thing called? I want to avoid, Duel Links, because I do not like playing Duel Links. I tried it, like, a couple times. I just don't like it. Ooh, Luxury Ball. And, like, the biggest thing is how it's monetized and grinding for cards feels like garbage in Duel Links. That to me is like the really big one. I also just don't like playing games on my phone, even though you can play that on my thing. Like, a lot of it just feels very like, it's like they applied all the things that I don't like about gacha games into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm like, oh. And also, like, anytime I'm playing it, it doesn't fulfill my want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Urge because it's, you know, it's different. It's its own thing, which a lot of people like. I just don't particularly care for. We can buy a ton of stickers. Holy shit, we can buy so many stickers. All of the stickers. Yeah, I just don't like the model that they use for Duel Links. Also, it's like, it's not made for people who really care about the TCG. It's more made for people who like the anime and wanted a gacha way to play that. But it's like really weird and confusing, and I'm not a fan of it. But it's like a lot more, it's like, it's not made for people who like the TCG. It's made for people who like the anime. It's cashing in on the anime love again, which, like, we haven't gotten anything to like cater to TCG players outside of the TCG and all these games and stuff in years, not since like the Game Boy Advanced. So it's just nice to be finally, like, for us to finally get a modern way to play it. Hey Steech, I'm talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm sorry. I'm talking about like the Yu-Gi-Oh! Monetization model and the fact that I'm excited to finally get an official thing, like an official, like, modern online way to play. Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans have been wanting that for ages, and they've just kind of refused. Because it's the topic. The topic that, like, I could talk about for ages and nobody knows what I'm talking about. I mean, to be fair, this is talking about, like, monetization and game release model and stuff that, like, everyone pretty much understands. Like, there's nothing about this that's particularly strictly a Yu-Gi-Oh! Thing. Because I like playing trading card games on here. We haven't done it in ages because I don't really play it as like I used to, but like way back I used to occasionally just like dust off the Pokemon trading card game online, which they're changing. Why would you be, Steech? And that was very fun. A lot of people would show up to play for those, and I got a lot of people into it and stuff through that, which is cool. I'm just excited to, like, have a way to kind of share and maybe walk through, like, the game I enjoy, but also with, like, an official enjoyment way. And also because it's run through an official thing, maybe hopefully we won't have to deal with, like, people's salt and, like, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community's awful behavior. Because let me tell you, there's some great parts of that community. There is some garbage. There's some absolute garbage. Oh snap, a thing's happening. Sorry, I had a notification. I wanted to see what the heck it was. I have another notification. What's this one? People are redeeming their Secret Santas from people. Yeah, it's a very fun game. Hey, Stabby. Pokemon trading card game is really nice because you can just leave it for a while, come back, and the game makes sense still. It's a very easy game to pick up, put down, and pick back up again later. It's super easy to learn and figure out. If you don't have the energy. I mean, it's gonna be better if you don't have the energy than trying to pick up and learn a different game that you left for a while. Where's the gym here? I can never remember where the... Okay, it's up there. What's up? It's Jasmine. I like her. She's cool. I always forget that you run into her here for, like, briefly for no reason. It's here. You're the blue one. There's a lot of blue over there today. I forgot about this guy. Good, I'm talking about how I'm excited for the official Yu-Gi-Oh thing coming out. That we've been asking Yu-Gi-Oh for millennia, it feels like. Electric Gym. Interesting. I don't think we need to change our lead, do we? Who would be a good lead here? I don't think we have a good lead here. I think we're pretty, like, we don't have, like, a bad one other than Asshat, but I think everyone else in our party is pretty neutral to, Electric, except for, like, Float Stoat, I guess, would be bad, too. I think we'll be fine. Okay, we can spin to win. Oh, I did that wrong. I already messed up puzzle. Uh-oh. And then run down. There we go. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for Master Duel. It's been like it's been one of the main things I've been anticipating coming out. I like that it's free to play. I like that there's like a single player mode. I like that it's like the single player mode seems to have like different stories of like different decks from like different eras. So like there's some that I'll be familiar with, but there'll be some that like came out during that time where I was not really in the game. Yeah! Squirrel fights my plushie. I love the gear levels in Castlevania games. They always look really cool. I was playing Castlevania 4 a few months ago when I was staying with, I was staying at Spooky's house. I was playing a lot of Castlevania 4 on my Switch. It's the one with the silly wiggly whip. Hey, Bubbling. Yeah, I don't know. Pokemon World's weird. They're totally cool with, like, all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm good. I'm excited to not be at work, because, God, this past week has been a nightmare. And I'm avoiding social interaction for as long as I can. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I'll probably like share it and give my thoughts while we're going and stuff. I mean, like, I already know what I think of the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game because I'm into it. I don't think that's that official. I don't know how official I'm considering that. I mean, this is like a different... This is a very different... There we go. There we go. One day they'll all be banned. Eventually. I love this gym, by the way. This is one of my favorite, like, just gym designs. I can't remember who the gym leader is, though. So the leader must not be all that interesting. I just like the puzzles. I like the gears and all that. I think it's neat. Yeah, it's Dracula. He's like, I exclusively play Zubat. Play, I'm the gym leader. Whoa! How did that happen? No, that's not good. That leads to bans and stuff on my half of me. That lead to me being in trouble. On top of, like, I also just don't care about that number. Everybody here's only got one Pokemon, which is making Stealth Rock just, like, uninteresting. I should probably switch out who my lead is, that way we don't just spiral our XP out of control. Yeah, sure, he can be whatever he wants to be. If that's his dream, he can be electric. Let's put someone else in the lead. I guess since Despite being an electric gym, electric isn't really what's happening. I'll try to level up the bird since he's the farthest behind. We also might just outspeed. Yeah, he's miming electricity. We can just try to outspeed everything in our lane. This guy should be running an electric type though, because he's a rock star. Rock stars tend to run electric types. Okay, they're called guitarists in this game. Yeah, see, there's one. There's Alexia, who should be dark type. But what do I know? Oh, I thought that was R Intimidate. I was like, since when do we have Intimidate? I think they're pretty neutral on what their strong thing would be, so I think we just foul play. Or no, I shouldn't have foul played. I should have used. Oh, well, it worked. I really like the animations on the trainers, like when they start battle and end battle. They're really good. They're like really smooth and they're expressive. I'm sorry, did you just say she's hardcore because she's dressed like a Pikachu? That's funny. On the rap, like the video game. The video game rap. This Pikachu's gonna die because Pikachu's stats suck. I mean, in an internet time. Internet time goes like 1,000,000 miles an hour. We just keep on thiefing. There goes Pikachu. God, this kid just runs like 100 Pikachu. How many Pokemon do you have left? 4. Is this 4 Pikachu? Yeah, no, it's an adventure. It's fun. Time zones are weird like that. Like, I feel like for both Europe and Australia, they always end up in like the strangest places. Usually it's like everyone in America usually ends up in America, but... Also, I didn't realize we'd be jumping straight into the gym so fast. It's pretty dope. Is this making it do like full 360s? Oh, there's a little icon that shows like how far it rotates. That's actually pretty useful. So we need to find like a 90-degree turn instead of a 180. Just like in Kirby. Just like in Corvo. Okay, a Kadabra. I'm not afraid of Kadabra. Yeah, there's nothing to be afraid of here. I think I'm strong enough to break through that. Yeah, we're a monster. Our physical attack is through the roof. Onsta? Onsta's up at like crazy hours. Oh, I miss Onsta. I haven't talked to Onsta in a hot minute. Onsta's great. Y'all should go follow Onsta if you haven't, like on Twitter and everywhere. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. What happened? Oh well. Oh, you know what? That makes sense. It's a Raichu. Stop it with light screens. Okay, yeah, we got this. We should go res or bird though. Don't care about agility. We're already fast enough. We don't really need to buff it. This isn't comp, so it's not like we're like building like a proper team where we're gonna take advantage of it. Let's just go through a game. Alright, we gotta go back though. We gotta heal up. Because we lost a party member and I don't want them falling behind on their XP. They're already the farthest behind. Snow Way Out. That's what that is. Oh, I don't have that one at the moment. Right now all I have is that one. There we go. Yeah, it sure is a Raichu. It's the same thing. Raichu's really good though. I got Deer on Secret Santa and I bought Deer a cool game, and they seem to be excited about it, so I hope they enjoy it. Although I want it now. I want the game I got Deer for Secret Samba. Secret Salsa. So many notifications. Garfield. Oh, because I was looking at the Garfield Twitter page. Or, like, not the Garfield one, but the Garfield comic of the day one, because they posted their Christmas Garfield comic. I've always had a weird fascination with Garfield. What game? I can't remember what it's called. The zoo management thing. It looks really fun. It's one that they didn't even have on their wish list. Like, I wanted to be fancy, and I'm like, you know what? I've known Deer for a while. I think I can find something if I avoid their wish list. I bet you I can find something that'd be cool that's not on there. Because they already know about all the games on their wish list. So I was like, I'm gonna put in the time and effort to browse Steam and find something that's not. Because I like having an excuse to browse Steam anyways. So I found them a really cool one. I mean, is it really a challenge? I know games. I know like a lot of the kind of games that Deer has liked in the past, so I just kept on looking through, because I like digging through Steam. I like digging through like all that stuff. I think it's fun. I like digging through like the eShop on the Switch and on the PS4 and stuff. I mean, to be fair, Deer's wishlist isn't that crazy, actually. At least I didn't think it was that crazy. I've seen people with scarier wishlists. Yeah, I don't remember how big it was, but it wasn't that bad. There's a lot of games on Steam, you gotta remember. The one that I grabbed was, the one that I got from Spooky was from my wishlist. It was Subway Midnight, and that looks so fun. I just want to figure out when I want to play that. And how long it is. Because I don't know. Damn it, Underwave. Okay, cool. We just used Thunderball. Or Shadow Ball, not Thunderball. It says Raichu's so strong. Raichu's really giving us crap. Tempo the Badass Elephant. I was looking at that a long time ago, and I'm like, this actually looks kind of fun. I didn't realize that Game Freak are the ones who made it. I was just thinking that game looked fun. Look at Game Freak making games besides Pokemon that nobody knows about because it's not Pokemon. But no, we have some interesting games that I have lined up. I mean, yeah, that's fair. Did they make Yoshi's Cookie? I don't know who made Yoshi's Cookie. Something like Yoshi's Cookie. I know they made the greatest game of all time, which is Little Town Hero. Everybody knows. Well, that's not my joke. Only real gamers know. I like Game Freak. Well, Yoshi's Cookie is like an old... Yoshi's Cookie was like Yoshi's first game, wasn't it? Because it was on the NES, not the SNES. Did it come out before or after Super Mario World? I know it's an NES game, and it was previous console. Yeah, Little Town Hero did not do well. That it did not. Which is a shame, because I want Game Freak to succeed at something that's not Pokemon. As much as I like Pokemon, right? Like, it'd be nice to see something that they make besides it be successful. It looks cool. I never wound up playing it. It has cards in it, so I like it. We'll see if it's good one day. What happened? I'll just keep using beef. Oh, why is your barrel faster? What? Wait, why is this person's idiot faster than our bird? The heck happened there? Yeah, why does this beaver know Thunderbolt? Oh, static. That makes sense. Paralysis. I always forget paralysis like destroys your speed stat. I think we're faster even with paralysis, right? No, we're not. I got cocky. Oh, but we're tanky. Okay, cool. Damn it, paralysis. All right, we're gonna switch out to be safe. Well, we also want to see if Arceus is any good first, but I'm excited for it. I definitely really want to play Arceus. Volt switch? Who are you gonna volt switch into? Oh, that's how they switched out earlier. I've not been paying attention. I don't know. There's not a Pokemon game that I think I dislike. There's just ones that I like more than others. Is there a Pokemon game I don't like? I think so. Okay, we got that going. We just jumped down? No. Oh, I did that wrong. Okay, let's spin this around. I see what happened. I gotta go up. Oh, I like Gen 8. I get why people didn't like Gen 8, but I like Gen 8. Yeah, but I also really like Sun and Moon. Like, Sun and Moon, I think, was like some peak Pokemon, but that's my opinion. That's the problem that they're at with Pokemon is like, what do you do with it that's not gonna upset someone? Gen 6 is fine. I don't have any strong feelings either way towards Gen 6. To me, it goes either way. Well, I guess there's Hey You Pikachu. Yeah, well, it's too many fans that, like, want everything to go in opposite directions of each other. Yeah, that's my big one, but that's not Game Freak. That's the Pokemon Company and fans. It's a combination of the Pokemon Company and fans. That is 100% not Game Freak's fault, the not enough time. And that's definitely, like, their biggest problem is not enough time. Yeah, there are too many Pokemon fans. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where, like, fans every year get, like, start begging and yelling at them to make the next thing, like, within months of the last thing coming out. And the company hears that, and they're like, well, we gotta make it so that way people buy it. And then it's like, okay, well, that's what the fans want, is us to hurry up and release the next one. So they do that, and then, you know, there's not enough time to make it. Well, it's also that, like, Pokemon just doesn't have, like... They haven't dedicated to a direction to go. Like, they'll lean in one direction, and then half the people will love it, the other half will backlash. They listen to the backlash, so they go back. And then that's usually where, like, the kind of middling ones that don't do anything come from. And then they'll try something again in the other direction, then all the fans will get pissed and they'll get backlash. And then they'll listen to that, and then they'll go back, because no matter what you do, people will get mad. Because, like, the two big camps are, like, okay, we gotta go back up. Okay, we actually might need to solve this puzzle. Actually think about this, I don't know. It's just one of those things where, like, they can't dedicate to a direction that they need to, because every time they do, like, half of the fan base gets like really annoyed. And the reason why that happens is, like, everybody, like I said, everybody wants something totally different, because, like, half the people want things to become more story driven, which result in a more linear experience usually. That kind of a thing. And whenever that happens, like, generally there'll be a lot more dialogue and stuff. What is going on here? If we do that, I'm okay with that. That's what, like, Sun and Moon was, and I had a great time with it. But then on the other hand, you have the people who are like, no, go back to how things were more towards Gen 1, and make things more open-ended, make it more like an open adventure, make my adventure. And it's like two completely opposite directions they can go, and no matter which they do, the other half of the people will be like, why did you do that? I don't know what to do here. Okay, wait, I have an idea. It's just kind of one of those things, and that's why, like, I don't really care what direction Pokemon goes. I'm just going to enjoy it, because, like, I know no matter what side I take, it's just gonna be like, people are gonna, like, think the opposite. Yeah, it's just chaos, pretty much, and that's basically what Pokemon deals with. Should we heal? How's our party doing? We should heal before we do this. We've taken down all the trainers in the gym. We know how to solve the puzzle, so we'll come back, solve it, and go straight to the thing. Yeah, that's my big one. I think the biggest step that I think that needs to be taken with the Pokemon Company is to slow down. Is just to slow everything down, make sure that, like, you give the game side enough time to make their thing. Because, like, clearly the anime is doing fine with it. The card game is doing excellent, because, like, the card game's already made. It's just they're releasing new cards, and then every new game gives them more ideas for new cards. If you delay it, it does make the card game a bit harder, because you don't have new Pokemon to work with, but, like, even then, like, they can do that. They have the team for that. They can do that easily. Like, the main one who's suffering is just kind of the game. Who's suffering right now. Just because there's not a lot of time between each generation releases, and, like, as the scope of these things and the expectations people have for them get bigger and bigger, because, like, these are no longer, like, your tiny handheld games with, like, pixels with, like, one frame animations. and the scope of these games keep getting like bigger and bigger as they build on top of each other. That's why I'm 100% for like throwing out like all of the old stuff and making like do a black and white where it's like, let's just do everything new. Everything's new. We don't have to worry about all the old stuff, and we can focus on getting the quality of this stuff. Like just focus on the quality of all the new things rather than trying to like put almost 1,000 Pokemon in. Like that's one of my big things is like the scope of these games is way too big. Sorry, I haven't been reading chat. I want to see what you guys are saying. Yeah, this is literally just like a faithful remake. That's kind of one of the reasons why I'm like kind of going through this. I'm like, I know exactly what this game is. Like, I've played this game before. This is literally like Pokemon Diamond with like a couple cool things, like costumes, and the very faithful like recreating everything in 3D despite being a 2D game. But like, I'm hoping that like maybe they see how well. I think this game did well. I hope they see like how well this did and they let them work on more things, and that way Game Freak themselves can work on like main stuff with a bit more time. I'm hoping that that's what this means for like Legends Arceus and the future of the games, because if they can't like give them more time, this will let them split up the projects to where like Game Freak themselves have more time, and then you can have like a B team being these guys working on whatever this is. That's my hope with this game being successful. Like finding some way to just give the games the proper time they need in the oven. Yeah, I really liked Oris. I thought Oris was a really nice remake. I prefer my remakes to be more along this lens than Oris, but like I see why people love that game, and I loved it. I just like remakes to be like, I always look at remakes in the way of like a way to both preserve a game as well as like give people who miss the opportunity to play it like a chance to play it for the first time. So I'm usually for making remakes about as faithful as possible. But that's my own stance on remakes. I don't think it's like the correct one, it's just my preferred one. I don't think there is a correct one. But like I look at it in a very like game preservation and also people's first experience with a historical game, I think should be pretty pure imperfections and all. I'd rather have it be that way. Re-releasing the original is a great way to do it as well. But I think like more people will be enticed by like a new coat of paint. But at that point, it's like I can be happy either way. Like, what is a faithful remake other than like basically re-releasing the original but putting way more work into it? I think the real thing that like kind of screwed over Pokemon Company was the choice to go 3D. I think they could have like stuck with like the simple 2D sprites and like just 2-frame animations. I think that would have been a lot like that. I think people would have been more forgiving about the animation problems, because as we all know, like Pokemon in like the reuse, I would have liked it to be like all hand drawn like the Shantae games sprites are. Like that, like instead of it being pixel art, it's just like straight up the illustrations, but you animate them in the same way as black and white. That's like my dream art style for a Pokemon game. It's just like black and white but hand drawn rather than pixelated. Because it's the same amount of effort that would go into both pixel art, and that is just an aesthetic choice on my end, and it looks more HD. And I think people would be more forgiving of like the same cost and like a lot of like the scale stuff that they did in those older games, because it was literally like 2 frames of animation per Pokemon, like maybe a third, which is way more sustainable than like these 3D animations. Yeah, well, the reason why those worked is they were all tweening. It was one drawing, but it was broken into layers, and then those layers were just tweened and like clicked and dragged. So they weren't even like hand animating it, like in terms of like redrawing each frame. They would just like wiggle the arm layer, which was just the one arm. And makes things so much easier and like saves so much time. But you can't do that with a 3D model. I think they got excited to look more modern when the 3DS came out, and pushed to that 3D, and then when they did, they made a lot more work for themselves, and I don't think people would be very happy if they went back. I think it kind of shot themselves in the foot. I don't know what to switch into. Let's go with float stuff. Let's just get this guy over. I think going back to like a 2D might help a little bit. It won't fix all the problems with the production schedule, but it would mean that like, I think fans would be a lot more forgiving because, I don't know, like in terms of like the animation saved, I think fans would be more forgiving. Because like limited animations work a lot better on like a 2D game than it does in a 3D game. In a 3D game it looks kind of weird, but in a 2D game it just matches a little bit better. Yeah, I'm okay with getting rid of gyms or keeping them. I don't really have a stance on that. I think if you're gonna do them well. Like I really liked Gen 8's gyms. I think the main story got in the way of it, of the actual gym experience, which was my favorite gym experience in the entire franchise. But I do like how Sun and Moon. I'm taking off my sweater. I'm wearing a sweater right now. I do like the idea of taking it away. I think just either do it really well or do something different. It just depends on which game. I respect, like, my favorite thing about Gen 7 is everything is thematic. There's nothing in that game that is not inspired by the region and the world that they're trying to build. That's why I love Sun and Moon so much. Everything in that game is just overflowing with, like both inspiration as well as, like, everything ties into the world and the theming. Which I think is always my favorite parts about Pokemon. But also, like, it shows you don't need a massive Pokemon game to put that much quality into it. Because, like, that game does have really high quality. That game is tiny. Like, if you lowered the amount of talking in that game down to the normal amount you would get in a Pokemon game, you'd be done with that game in, like, half the time. That, the everything in Pokemon Sun and Moon is just dramatically scaled down. Like, that game is a very small game, so they were able to pour more into quality control of it. And I really respected that. A lot of the effort was put into writing to carry that. Which I get people didn't like how handholdy that game is, which I agree to, but I like the personality it had. I didn't play the war game thing. I haven't played that many spin-offs. Oh, you're not talking about Conquest. I thought you were talking about Conquest. I didn't look back for a second. I saw something about the war thing. No, Team Skull is my favorite team. Team Skull is just overflowing with just like personality. All the people in Gen 4, not Gen 4, in Sun and Moon are overflowing with personality. It, like, that's 100% what I want more out of Pokemon, is just that, like, life to everything and that level of inspiration from things. Like, I think it's one of the more flawed games, but it's 100% like the kind of thing that I think really holds Pokemon up really high. Comes from Sun and Moon. I'd love to see them return to that design philosophy, but those games bombed harder than any other gen, so we'll see how well that goes, because people hated those games. I love Jesse and James in the anime. They're the best character. Team Rocket's the best characters in the anime. But like, it's just interesting. Every Pokemon game when it comes out is heavily hated, and then once time passes and we can let the hatred firms settle down, we can point out what the games do really well. Because that's always been the case. Gen 1 was the craze, like, it was peak Pokemon craze, but, like, looking back on it, that game is so many flaws and it's so minimalist, which is not its fault. It's because of what it came out on. Like, that is not 100% not that game's fault. But it's very much, you can feel that it's the rough start. It's Volt Switch. Yeah, no, I agree, but that's why it's my favorite. And they lean a little, they did take a lot of inspiration from it into Sword and Shield that I could feel in places. They took a lot out, but like, you can feel what they learned from Sun and Moon when they made Sword and Shield. They definitely learned a lot from that game. In terms of writing and the character use. They've infused so much life into Sword and Shield, and I think that's mainly thanks to how well it worked in Sun and Moon. If it wasn't for how tutorial-y that game feels, I think that would be most people's favorite Pokemon game. But we're getting rid of Sludge Bomb. But, like, yeah, and then what was I saying? Gen 2, I think the biggest problem people had with Gen 2 at the time was that it wasn't Gen 1. Same thing with Gen 3. But, like, Gen 2's, like, has, like, the weaknesses of, like, it's just too big, so a lot of the scale of the Johto region is not that fantastic. It relies heavily on Gen 1 reuse, which I'm not the biggest fan of. It's very much trying to pander to Gen 1, and not standing, and I think if it led into all the new stuff a bit harder, like, that would probably be a more standout thing. And then 3 was definitely, like, the first time they were 100% like, this is just a new Pokemon game. Everything about this is going to be new, and that pissed so many people off. Because, you know, with 1 being the big one, and then 2 being, like, basically Gen 1 plus, like, it makes sense that a lot of people would be pissed off that Gen 3 is like, nope, old games are gone. This is a new region, new thing, new story. Everything's new. And that pissed people off a lot. Because for the longest time, you just could not have your Gen 1 stuff in it. And the people like, it's not Pokemon because I don't have my Gen 1 stuff. And that still carries on to a lot of people's opinions today. Gen 4 has quite a few problems, mainly with, like, pacing. It's a very, like, it's not as vibrant of a gen as 3 was. But a lot of people didn't like, they brought back a lot of pandering to Gen 1. A lot of the new evolutions were for Gen 1 Pokemon and all that stuff. The biggest thing is the pacing. This is a very slow, laid-back experience. This is not an exciting Pokemon game. That's what I love about it. But a lot of people didn't like that. People hated the Gen 1 pandering. It's like, how dare you give evolutions to, like, Tangrowth, like Tangela and Electivire, like, all those ones. People hated those when they came out. They said it ruined their favorite classic Pokemon, and it's like, the only reason why they did those is because people got pissed off it wasn't in Gen 3. And then 5, people got pissed off because they just abandoned. They're like, this is just nothing but new. Nothing but new. We hear what you say. You guys want story. We're giving it story. People hated it, though, because they were like, this is nothing. There's nothing about Pokemon about this. This is just a new thing. So people were pissed off about that with Gen 5. Gen 6, people were pissed off because of, like, because of the heavy backlash of, and that's my stance. I think they, like, people get confused when I say I believe that the Game Freak the Pokemon Company listens to the fans too much. This is more of what I mean, is it's like, Gen 5, the reason why Gen 5 had nothing but new stuff and you couldn't touch the old stuff was because Gen 4 got so much backlash for the new stuff that they gave to Gen 1 and previous generation evolutions. Like, that, those got heavy backlash. How dare you give, like, new stuff and ruining my favorite Pokemon with these shitty evolutions. Like, that was a huge backlash. Gen 3 got a lot of, like, why is there nothing? So, like, for my old ones, so they tried to balance out 4, 5, they got pissed off because it was 0. Gen 6 was like, alright, we're toning it down, we're gonna give you, like, here's all of your Gen 1 stuff, and we're gonna tone down the story because you guys didn't like that. And then now, because of that, everybody looks at, like, Generation 6 as really bland. Because it just relies so heavily on Gen 1, and they took out most of that story stuff that people complained about in Gen 5, but also they gave you all the old stuff, but like didn't really do too much to it. So it's like there's just a lot of Gen 1 pandering for no other purpose than Gen 1 pandering. And the only reason why they did that is because people got pissed off whenever they did mess with it and make it more interesting. You're starting to see where like a lot of the problems people have with each gen are the result of the things they complained about in the previous gens. People complain that there's no, like, they want the story back, they want all this, like, where's all the depth and the drama, so they brought back stories and, like, more personality, because everybody said Gen 6 was so bland with Gen 7. People said there was too much talking in Gen 7, so, like, Gen 8 came along, and there's nowhere near as much story. Like, I'm very much on the stance that I would love to see what kind of a Pokemon game we would get with zero intake from fans. I really want to see what that would look like. Or it's just purely the people at the helm making it. Even with Legends Arceus, like, it's a lot of, like, it feels like this is just people constantly begging for, like, why aren't you giving us a proper open world Pokemon game? Why aren't you giving us Breath of the Wild Pokemon? Like, it feels like it's them responding to the fans saying that a bunch. Exactly, and I think Pokemon Company listens to them a lot, and I feel like a lot, and this isn't me, like, complaining about these games. I think each of these games have so many strong points, and I love each mainline Pokemon game. I love them all, and I think they all have their own strengths, but the thing is, like, those negativities that people bash through every time one of these games come out directly affect the next one. And it's interesting because, like I was saying earlier before I got sidetracked, once a few more gens pass, people look back on that gen very nostalgically and why they loved it. Because when the Gen 3 remakes came out, people were so happy and excited. When the Gen 4, then people were asking for this remake for the longest time, and it finally came out and it was super faithful. People were so excited and now they're super happy with it. It's interesting. Yeah, even if you got fans out, you still have investors to deal with. Nostalgia is very potent, especially with a franchise like Pokemon, where, like, I would say, like, 70% of the fan base for Pokemon, a huge part of their enjoyment is nostalgia. And, like, when that's a huge part of your franchise appeal, it is a nightmare. Yeah, I'm at the point where, like, I just don't demand anything from Game Freak. I'm just like, I'll play what you give me, and I'll give my honest opinions on what my experience was with it. But yeah, I think that's the problem, is they're trying to make everyone happy, and, like, this problem only gets worse and worse as they go down different routes back and forth with each game. It's only going to, like, create more and more people wanting things to go in more and more different directions. That's the thing, a lot of people don't want small fixes. A lot of people think the opposite. Like, I can't tell you how often Pokemon fans complain about that stuff. Like, small things. It's too much of a franchise that everyone has an opinion on. Make it optional? I mean, I think making everything optional is always a great way to do things, but I also don't think the XP share is as big of a deal as people make it out to be. It's really weird because, like, every other JRPG, like, we are like, oh, thank God we can keep we get party members that aren't in the fight get XP, thank God, finally. And then Pokemon joins them by modernizing, and everybody gets so pissed. And it's not that, like, the XP share is the problem, it's that, like, the games themselves, like, their leveling is not scaled with the XP share in mind. In terms of, like, the level escalation. This one actually has been doing it extremely well. I will say that. Like, this game's, like, XP, the level curve of this game matches the XP share. Like, this is actually a really good XP share. This is exactly how you should handle it. Like, we've been battling everything, and, like, we are in level with the trainers that we're encountering. Like, yeah, the wild Pokemon we're not, but, like, the trainers we're going against, we have been consistently, like, around the right level for. Like, at least in our playthrough we have. to be a fan of the game. I don't know. I think it's okay to be like upset with a franchise you like if you don't agree with it. Like I think it's okay to have those opinions. Like you don't have to like everything about something to be a fan of it. You can have like parts of the series that you don't like and still be a fan of the series. Like I hate Final Fantasy 13 with a fiery passion. I still consider myself a Final Fantasy fan. I don't have a stance on the XP share anymore. Like, I just don't care whether it's here or not. I don't care how they implement it. I'm like, I'll just make the game, if you put it in, make the game's level curve naturally follow it. And if you don't put it in, make the game's level curve naturally follow that. The XP share is just a huge problem with argument-wise, because, like, we always hear people complain about, like, it being there. We don't ever hear about people complain about not being there, because it's not a problem anymore, because it solved a huge problem the games used to have, of, like, grinding needing to constantly switch your Pokemon out and grinding them up individually, just to make sure they're all properly leveled, even if you're like in a cave and you're like, Pikachu's the one you need to grind, you better put Pikachu in the front, and that sucks. Like, I hated that. That was one of my least favorite things about Pokemon for a long time, and a lot of people's least favorite part about Pokemon. Which, like, making it optional seems like an easy fix, but the problem is then you screw over one or the other's level curve experience. If you cater the level curve to where it's spread out amongst the whole party, you're going to screw over the people who aren't using it, the people who turned it off. And if you make the level curve for the people who are not using it, the people who are using it for the convenience of it is going to be extremely over-leveled. So, like, if you cater your leveling for people who use it, the people who don't use it are going to be under-leveled severely, and it's going to create grinding and be really bad for the pacing of the game. If you cater it for the people who don't use it, your people who do use it are going to be over-leveled, and the game's going to be a cakewalk, and it's not going to be fun. There is no winning with the XP share. Now that it's a thing that people argue about, there is no right answer. It's just like when you make it, you have to like cater your game to it, and I like that they've taken a stance on it. I don't think people have to like it, but I'm glad they finally took a fucking stance and picked one. Because now it's just part of the game. We can argue about it, but that's just part of the game, and they can cater the game's XP curve to follow that, and it won't be annoying of having it like, well, my experience was I was under-leveled because you didn't use the XP share, and then the other people will be like, well, my team was over-leveled because you did use the XP share. Like, it's one of those things. Yeah, exactly. It's also that too. Like, I don't like arguing about it because it's like it's already in the game. But also on that same stance, like, if we don't criticize it, then they're not going to learn. Like, it's important to criticize things as well. But, like, the XP share is not as simple as people's arguments make it out to be, is all I'm saying. Like, as much as it's, like, seems like a simple thing of make it optional, when you make it optional, you are making it extremely, like, you're making it impossible for a more natural, flowing, leveling experience. The XP share is one of the biggest problems Pokemon has made for themselves. I never thought it was a big deal either way. But, like, fans really do, and I don't think Game Freak expected it to be a big deal. I just feel really bad for them for it, because, now no matter what they do, they're gonna get people pissed off at them over it. But yeah, like, the XP share is an interesting discussion on JRPG leveling and all that, and like difficulty in mind. It's actually a fantastic. Yeah, they've opened a Pandora's box and you can't put it back in. But they have opened like a really fascinating window into like why JRPG leveling systems are the way they are and how tricky they can be to balance. Because like a lot of people's complaints with Pokemon games before the XP share was grinding.
because they would have one Pokemon in their lead and they would accidentally overlevel them, which is really easy to do if you're just casually playing it, not paying complete attention, and then the rest of your team sucks. You hit, like, you're using, like, a fire starter and you're up against a guy who just fucking has insane type advantage over you. You're screwed unless you grind up your other team. And that sucks. That's why the EXP share was there, was to fix that. But like I said, if you make it optional, you can't choose your thing. That's why most JRPGs just by default share your XP across the party. Yeah, exactly. It's just, I like thinking about leveling systems because it's such a core part of JRPGs. The XP share definitely, like, opened my eyes to, like, how fragile and how delicate finding that balance of, like, the XP you get from fights is. Because if you don't want to make too many encounters, because, like, your options are, like, have enemies give you more XP, and you'll have less encounters to gain your proper levels to get to your boss, which in this game would be the gyms, but in other RPGs it would be your boss fight. Or you can have it be, like, or you need to make it to where there's more encounters if they give you less XP. And as much as, like, that seems like an easy thing to balance, that's really tricky. Just balancing, like, what your level is. Your Dusk Ball ship, that's exciting. I like the Dusk Ball. Because, like, I think of, like, Dragon Quest VI. That game has a huge pacing problem because there are so many random encounters. Like, there are too many random encounters, and they did that to balance out how many fights you will need for things and how much of those, like, different XPs you would need for things. But it did create a problem where, like, rather than having the amount you need be lower or whatever, it made it so they chose to go with the more encounters route in the dungeons, and that sucked. Hated that. That game was exhausting. It's just a delicate balance, and, like, having an EXP share being an item versus not having an item. Yeah, you should share those, Daddy. You should be able to. They're really cool. I really like them. It creates a problem. The XP share creates a paradox that, like, there is no correct answer to, and no matter what you choose, half the people are going to like it and the other half are gonna hate it. I'm glad that, like, the past few games they've just put their foot down and picked one. Because, like I said, as much as it is easy to say, just make it optional, turn it on or off, that you're gonna screw over half the player base. You're gonna screw on the half that uses it or the half that doesn't use it, depending on how your XP curve goes. Because XP is a fun system. I actually really like XP. This is not me saying XP and leveling up is bad, by the way. I do really like it. I think XP systems are, like, the original, like, natural. I guess that makes sense, but it's like, I don't know, like, I can see the logic behind that, but it also, like, goes the other way. Like, I think that same argument goes in, like, both directions. Like, it literally is like, well, you screw over half the people. It's like, no, you cater to half the people. And it's like, whether that's a good or bad thing just depends on which side of the fence you end up getting, whether you're on the side that gets catered to or the side that doesn't. That's my problem with making it optional. Like, it's literally depends on which side you end up on, whether you're gonna be upset. But, like, it's not gonna solve the problem. The problem is people constantly bickering over whether they're right or wrong and attacking each other over it. That's the real problem. Because, like I said, I don't give a shit either way. I do not care. But all it's gonna do is, like, create more fighting between people. Like, that's the thing that I'm like, it's interesting. It's not really an option, I feel like it's not really an option though, because it's like either do I want to be XP screwed or not, or do I want to be over leveled or not. That's the decision you're making. Yeah, no, exactly. Same here, Niv. Like I said, I don't care either way. I'm just trying, like, I like it how it is. Exactly, like, this is a discussion. This is just us, like, talking about the ups and downs of it both ways, which is, like, not something you get from most Pokemon players. I don't agree with the idea that more options is always a good thing. I think players sometimes need a bit of guidance or a bit of like there's like a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? They need a bit of foundation, like that like they don't screw themselves over. Like that way they don't shoot themselves in the foot. And I think the XP share is definitely one of those that like would be one where enough people are gonna shoot themselves in the foot. Whether you make it by default on or off, or you cater to it on or off. It's kind of the same reason why like I don't like most people's idea of like what a hard mode would be in a Pokemon game. I think you can do a hard mode in a Pokemon game. I just don't think the way people ever say to do it is the right way. Because especially with a game as complex as Pokemon too, because like Pokemon has so many variables. Like, God, the variables in Pokemon are just nuts. Just every Pokemon being a different variable for how someone's experience is going to be in every encounter. Going with each of those, like, it's a nightmare to make any decisions on what a Pokemon game should have. More re-releases? I'm okay with more re-releases, as long as people are buying them. If people aren't buying them, just do digital. But, like, don't do a half-assed re-release. That's the thing, too, when we beg for re-releases. It's like, it's not as easy as pressing the port button on a computer and then it's out. Because, like, look what happened when they did that with the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, where they just pressed the port button and they kind of just smooth things over. It doesn't end well. Like, it's a lot of work to properly port a game over. And, like, that's the thing, like, we were talking about earlier. If we keep asking for all these remakes, they'll listen and they'll give them to us, but at the cost of, like, spreading themselves thin over so many projects. It's just a nightmare when franchises become this big. I think game preservation is important, but, like, I really like that they hired the B team to do, like, they hired a separate team to do this. That is 100%, I think, the way they should do it. If they do, is, like, get a different team to do it. This game is exactly how I think the Pokemon remakes, I want them to be for the future. It's faithful enough, it's, like, super faithful, so it's not, like, a different experience, so people who haven't had the chance to play it still, for the most part, get the same experience. But it's, like, polished up a bit, where people who want to revisit it get, like, a little bit of a flair. I really like this kind of a thing. I think this is a really solid way that they did it by handing it to this team. It's a shame they're using this time to make a different spin-off instead of the next mainline game for several years, but, you know. We'll take what we get a step at a time. Step at a time. They're figuring things out. It doesn't feel like it, but they're slowly figuring things out over there at Game Freak. The fact that they're even, like, asking for help on these things is such a great thing. I just think the fans are the last people that I would listen to any input on for Pokemon. Like, even though I'm a fan who has opinions that I think are pretty much, like, a great way of doing it, that's only for me. Like, there's still half of the fan base that would fucking hate my perfect Pokemon game. And they'd be like, this isn't Pokemon. There's no winning. So don't lie to people about your remakes. Final Fantasy VII, I'm looking at you. There was a point I wanted to make at some point, and I lost it. Oh well. Guess we're good. Final Fantasy VII Remake? That's not a remake. It's its own thing. I don't hate Final Fantasy Remake for what it is. I just hate that they advertise it for so long as a remake. Holy shit. We just got fucking rock blasted. It's very much its own thing. I also don't like part releases, but other people do. I'm a little old school, so I like all my games to just come out. I don't like these episodic releases, they annoy me. I'm like, I just want to buy my game, man. I don't like keeping track of all this shit. You'd probably end up playing it in like 30 years then. I don't know, I like Pokemon, and I don't like being upset about it. I'm just kind of rolling with their decisions they make and being like, is that the decision you got? Okay, cool. I'll see you later. I mean, I'm not really gonna spoil anything, because I know there's probably a few people who, like, want to play it, but I think it's pretty common knowledge that it's this weird, not a remake thing. My favorite remake I've ever seen of a game is, and like how it was handled, was the Medieval remake we played for Halloween a couple years ago. That to me is how I want my remakes done. I love that so much. That made me so happy. We should play it. We haven't played it since. I love that you can like unlock the original game by like 100%ing it. You unlock like the original. That's so cool. You can like compare things. I love that. Medieval's such a good game. So many people in like a modern lens would fucking hate it. Like the Walking Dead games, like, yeah, I mean, it's not just them anymore, but they were definitely the ones who popularized it. And like, not sequels or something else. I think I have nothing against sequels. I just don't like episodic releases. It's annoying. It just leads to a lot of problems. It makes things complicated. It makes getting physical media just impossible. Well, not impossible, but like, it makes it annoying. And then also, like, Final Fantasy VII Remake is now going to be across PS4 and PS5, and I'm like, I don't want to buy a PS5 to play the other half. Fucking hell. Exactly, I just want to play the whole game. I'll give you the time for it. Just take your time, make the whole thing, and make it take up like 300 gigabytes of my computer. There we go. I don't know. I think I'm just a grumpy old man when it comes to video games. I think that's what it is. I'm just a big old fucking grump. I don't understand the modern landscape of gaming and the direction it's going. It all confuses me. I like my physical media. I don't understand. What is a Google Stadia? I say this as someone who like didn't have a place to buy video games within like 100 miles growing up, like my whole life. So I get the importance of digital media. Like I wouldn't have been able to play pretty much anything without it, but like I like it as an option. I don't like this whole phasing out, like the futures. Futures, oh, digital. I'm like, no, please don't. I like the balance we have now. I like our balance where like most things are released both ways, or if they can't afford to do it physically, then they'll just release it exclusively digital, which is totally fine. the Xbox all digital just makes me sad. I don't have one. I don't buy Xbox. Not that I have anything against them. I actually really like Xbox in recent years. It just makes me sad that like both the PS5 and the Xbox just legitimately are just totally happy releasing all digital editions. And video games are weird. It's a changing world, and I don't get it. It's weird. It's amazing how much games are changing and also not changing at fucking all in places that I want them to change. It's great. Also, we're in Victory Road now. I guess this is a thing. Look at that fucking Golbat. We should probably be killing things, I guess, because we need the XP. We're starting to approach the danger zone. I don't know how long it is. I don't remember how long Victory Road was. Really, the main thing with Victory Road is how long you get lost in it. Like, if you figure out how to navigate it, these things usually aren't that long. It's just if you end up going in loops, then it feels like forever. So, I just need to make sure that we don't get too lost. No, yeah, that's how I felt about Mount Coronet. I remember Mount Coronet being like this huge thing, and then I realized, oh, I just went in circles as a kid. Messed this up? I think I messed this up, because no matter what I do, I can't. Yeah, I messed that up. Can I go this way? Oh, this place has like the bike ramps and shit. Forgot that was in this game. There was like bike ramps in Victory Road. It's so cool. God, we really were just talking about Pokemon decisions and how it's a nightmare for an hour, weren't we? It is. It's a lot to think about. And it is a nightmare. I would not want to be the one making decisions at Game Freak, because no matter what you do, you're gonna get backlash. Or I would just make all my decisions. I'd be like, fuck off. That's why I like the trading card game. The trading card game is nice. It's just always a good time. The trading card game Pokemon community is like the nicest community. They're all great. I've never had a single bad interaction with the trading card game community for Pokemon. Like, if I tried to do the same shit I did with the fucking with the Yu-Gi-Oh community that I pulled with the Pokemon trading card game community, like, holy shit, would people fucking just give me so much trash talk. I don't care, I do it anyways because I think it's funny, but... Notification. I'm getting so many notifications today. I should tell everyone what I got dear for Merry Spooksmas. I don't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up on Steam. Oh, just like, I just would build stupid meme decks and push them to their limit. People get really angry about that shit and Yu-Gi-Oh! For some reason, like, God, you're so much trash, why don't you play good decks? And I'm like, I don't care. I'm playing it because it's trash and I think it's funny. Trash is hilarious. Love trash. Trash decks are funny. Well, I mean, they're mostly not. They're not notifications for me. They're just notifications in general. I have too many alerts. That's how it go. That's how it go. What's me? Lots of people. I don't care. But lots of people get mad if you play trash. And also, like, most of the time, you're not winning. If you're playing trash, you're not winning. Like, I think that's something a lot of people do understand is, like, it's okay to play bad decks. It's also okay to admit that your deck is bad. Like, it's okay to admit that you're playing fucking garbage. As a garbage connoisseur, it's okay to admit that you play fucking garbage. I do. Here here in a few sets, I'm going to be playing a stupid... Yeah, it could be a third rate duelist with a fourth rate deck. I'm gonna be playing Ghost Ring Burn here soon once the cards release. Like, it's not gonna be good. What gear am I in? There we go. Line up. Damn it. Oh, it's another stupid Medicham. Alright, give me your XPs. I think the enemies in here are actually worth a decent amount of XP. A lot of them are pretty bulky. Hulk is good for XP. I should probably just be using Surf because I got Stab. Power Trick. What did I do again? So it's just attack and defense. Okay, so now it's just kind of fragile. I think. Instead of high attack stat or high defense stat? Okay, that's a higher. It's weird. Yeah, Grapplers are good for defense just because all that fucking bulk. Does Steelix give a lot? I don't think Steelix has much HP. I think he just has a lot of defense. God damn it, of course he's sturdy. I hate sturdy. Let me one-shot you, you boy. That's a really good animation. That's really good. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think Surf hits him. I think Earthquake is the move. Yeah, Earthquake is the only move that hits someone underground, I think. I think that's how it goes. Well, some Pokemon have both. Water types generally have a lot of HP. Water types and normal types are usually good places to get XP from. Ow. Who's holding the egg? I just remember that we have the egg. Who's holding it? Brittany's holding it? Once Brittany gets to level 60, I think we'll pass the egg on to someone else. I forgot that we had her holding the egg. Yeah, I just passed where I was going. Pretty sure it was more of me just rambling about Pokemon, Stephanie. It's all good. I'm pretty sure it's me just being very, very rambling about things that people don't like about Pokemon. That's fine. That's what talking about Pokemon does. It's a delicate area. It's not the kind of thing that you talk about game design. You just are like, man, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. But I can't do that, so I just bring the salt people train.
And then people are like, I need a break after all that Pokemon talk. It's just what happens with the subject. It's fine. It's all good. There's also stuff happening. There's also lots of stuff happening right now. Yeah, I mean, most people are. There's also a lot of stuff happening with like a bunch of different people. That's what a lot of my notifications were, just go live notifications, which I was not expecting. So we'll have people to raid at least. But I don't know what's going to be happening here when we're back. We're probably going to be playing for quite a bit longer. At minimum, want to get to the Elite Four. That's the minimum. I'm using Swift. I guess if I really wanted to, we can pop a Repel. Not have to deal with things. But I'm kind of wanting the XP. Like, I think we're at the point where we want to get as much XP from here as we can, because this is like the highest XP area before the end. Like, I'm not going to do any grinding or anything. Well, unless we have to. But, I'm not going to do any grinding here unless we get, like, stuck on the Elite Four. I don't... No, Pokemon's not a game I'm very compelled to grind in. It's not fun to grind in Pokemon. Like, at least in Dragon Quest, you can make it, it's like kind of like a fun hunt for metal slimes. Like, you're looking for something specific, like it's a specific monster hunt you're after, and then when you find it, it's exciting because you're like, oh shit, can I do this? Can I do this? Like, it's a very much a gambling feeling of like getting that quick adrenaline fix. Yeah, I think it's forcing us to fight this guy. Wait, no, how do I go down there? Hunt Chansey. Chansey's a good place to get XP, but all the Chanseys in this game are at lower level areas, so we don't get it, so it'll just, so it won't be that crazy. I just got a Rapidash. How do I get through here? Oh, we can just Aqua Tail. This thing's gonna die. I'd really love one day to make my own Pokemon mod, but like my own Pokemon game mod thing. But that's a lot of work. I'd really like to make a Pokemon game that's like implemented with my own Pokemon design sensibilities. Or like a Pokemon-esque game or something. So maybe something that we make the Game Boy. But that's a lot of work. But I would make people upset by keeping the XP share on. So it's not an option. Because then I would have to program 2 whole like level sets. And I ain't doing it. Oh, I remember that point I was trying to make earlier when everybody was here. That I never got to when everybody left. Yeah, I mean that kind of leans into what I was about to say. I think in terms of like Pokemon difficulty, I would not change the levels of the gyms. Like everybody's thing with like how do you make a hard mode for a Pokemon game or an easy mode? Oh, lower the levels of everything. I'm like, no. You give them actual strategies. Like for like easy mode, you can just build your gyms how you normally do, and then for like hard mode, give the gym leaders actual fucking strategies because they don't have them. They're just like, here's a handful of fire type Pokemon that are in the game. Like here's fire moves. They don't have strategies. They don't fucking do anything. Okay, how do I solve this? Oh, I see. I see. We can solve this from this side. You push it. Push it. Roxman. And I think you can do strategies while keeping it type-based. Like Raihan and Sword and Shield made me very happy to see that he had like a proper fucking strategy. He had a Sandstorm team. He had 2 Pokemon that set up Sandstorm and nothing but Pokemon that benefit from it. Like his team has a strat. Like it was a loose strat, but he had a strat. What's her name? The Electric Gym Leader in Gen 5 has like a Volt Switch strat.
she switches like into like back and forth between Pokemon with like reverse resistances, so they're kind of hard to predict what you should be attacking with. Like her Emolgas like give her defense against like wait, no, that doesn't work because that still blocks us in. Oh, I'm an idiot. I see what to do. I see what to do for that puzzle. It's really simple. I'm just really dumb and haven't been paying attention. I don't know. I want... That's how I would do it. Like the leveling up is not a thing. All you're doing whenever you just increase the level of things is you're encouraging people to cry. And that's not fun. That's not making things harder. You're just making it take more time to reach the right level. And you're not challenging a player whenever you just raise the level of things. You're going to be challenging the player if you're forcing them to like deal with strategies and come up with their own strategies. That's how you do difficulty in an RPG. But that's also why like most JRPGs don't do difficulty selection, just because like that is really hard to balance. Like JRPGs are like incredibly difficult to balance once you start doing like difficulty selections. Because it's not as easy as just make number bigger or number smaller. You need to like implement a lot of shit to balance the game at that point. Like JRPGs are extremely complex, and yes, even ones as simple as Pokemon are so insanely complex in terms of like game balance. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that's like seems really simple and easy to say, but like really hard to actually implement. We're running out of moves on our water type, and that's kind of concerning. I was mainly leaning with Floatzel here because like a lot of things in the game's gonna be ground, but that's not working all that much once we run out of moves. Or once the Pokemon's knocked out. Ooh, hang in there, buddy. We should use some items. We should definitely use some items. That way we don't die. I don't know, with video game selection, I just like video game selection, with difficulty selection, I don't like whenever it's just make numbers bigger or smaller. Like, that's not fun. That's not engaging. I don't find that interesting. At that point, I'd rather just play on E. What do we have for healing? I'm gonna use a max potion. Those are gonna be expensive. Okay. Do we have any ethers? We have a max ether. I don't want to waste that. That's expensive too. I don't want to use like the super expensive stuff because that's gonna be costly for us. Counter Pokemon. I've done them before. I don't like Pokemon for that kind of stuff. Like, I don't find Pokemon challenge runs to be very interesting or compelling. I much more enjoy Pokemon like in a what do you call it? In more of like a world sense. Like, I like the adventure and world of Pokemon. I don't really think the gameplay is very good. But I think it's a really good like way of like thinking about. It's a really good gateway to get me to think about like JRPG battle design. As much as I don't think this is a great one. Like, there's a lot that like I get thinking about it that like is a way for me to simplify and understand it in other games. Like, Pokemon's a very good thing to study for it, but I just don't like how it itself implements it. And I'm saying this as someone who used to play like competitive Pokemon. Like, so I know the depth that this game can have. I just don't particularly find it particularly compelling. Because I used to do a lot of challenge runs and stuff just in my own time and all that. I just don't find it interesting I don't find where Pokemon puts its like focus on strategy to be very compelling at all. I don't like weakness matchups. I don't like type matchups in my turn-based battle systems like at all. I'm very much against elemental weaknesses in my video games. Because I think it just creates solutions to problems rather than encouraging you to make your own solution. It just is like, do you have the answer? That's why I can't fucking stand Persona 5's battle system. That's my least favorite battle system I've ever played is Persona 5's. As much as that upsets people, I just don't find it compelling, like, at all. I really don't like how much emphasis there is on fucking hitting weaknesses in that game. Which, like, if you don't like if you don't like weaknesses being a powerful thing, you're not gonna like Persona 5's combat. Like, and Pokemon has a huge emphasis on that as well, so it's like, you know, those things are kind of hand in hand. Not, and that's very much like a personal preference thing. A lot of people adore it. A lot of people say it's one of their favorite things ever because there's so much like interweaving between things. And I'm like, yeah, but like at its core, I don't like it. A lot of people love it. A lot of people's favorite battle system is that game. And I don't say they're wrong. I'm just saying it's like it does all the things that I hate in a battle system. I don't think it's wrong. I don't think it's bad either. And like all of its systems are catering towards that core that I just do not like. It's just like all the types of decisions that I don't like in my JRPGs or Persona 5. But I like the story and I like the characters and I like a lot of the other stuff in that game. So I still really like Persona 5. It's just not for the gameplay. A lot of people love it. A lot of people adore it. I just don't. This thing is so bulky. Oh, don't you heal. Oh, you jackass. What's strong against fairies? Fuck, you're good against something. I don't know. Fairy type still, I'm never gonna understand what's good against fairy. I guess I could just look it up. I guess I could just look up Clefable. Clefable. I know this is a pretty bulky Pokemon. Poison and Steel. Okay, I thought it was good against Poison. I guess I had that backwards. Alright, let's Poison Jab. Wait, is it especially bulky or physically bulky? I'm just looking at this point. I'm just looking up for my opponent's Pokemon. Where's your stat spread? Where's your stat? Okay, you're specially defensive. Okay. So I'm making the right move. No, yeah, you're right. Steel Poison. I remember Steel for some reason. It's the poison that throws me off. I don't think we have anything crazy against Torterra, but I guess we have Drain Punch. Drain Punch should do good. Okay, Drain Punch isn't bad. This guy's pretty bulky anyways. We probably have something better though, don't we? Not really. He's ground grass, so our best option would have been Floatstone if it wasn't for the grass. I think we just stick with this. I think we're good here. Isn't Poison good? Oh, no, isn't Poison neutral? I think Poison might be neutral, but we have Belch, which is special. Oh shit, Belch is for holding berries. Why the hell did I choose Belch over Gunk Shot? That was a mistake. Flying? Oh, it's rock that's strong against flying, not ground. I always forget that because most ground types are also rock types. Or not that, most rock types are also ground types. We need to switch Belch back out for shot. That was a mistake. Grass is weak to flying? I don't think grass is weak to flying. I know bug is. I'm pretty sure grass is neutral. Pretty sure ground is neutral. Let's see our TMs. We're getting rid of Belch. I can't believe I switched out Gunk Shot for that. I forgot that it needs a berry. We're looking for a purple TM. That's not. Do we have anyone that can learn False Swipe still? No? Okay, I guess we're just gonna go through this whole game without False Swipe. I don't think we have Gunk Shot. Uh-oh. Sorry, Brittany. We fucking ruined one of your better moves. We can learn Payback. What can we replace it with temporarily? Sword Stance is pretty dope. Let's use Sword Stance. Holy shit! I didn't realize that we could learn Sword Stance. Alright, we're getting rid of Belch, because Belch ain't gonna do shit. We're never gonna use a fucking berry. Really? Flying? Why did I think it was just neutral to... I knew the others. Flying just doesn't seem right. It's so weird. There's some weird type matchups on this game. Here's a whole chart. It's so weird. Alright, I guess we encounter a Torterra, throw a bird at it. Birds eat worms. What? What, Kadabra? I'm not afraid of you. You're made of glass. Like, I could hit you with, like, a fucking move that you'd resist and you'd probably still die in one hit. Yeah, I mean, like, Bug makes sense to me. Like, I get Bug. I also just really like Bug types, so Bug is one that I'm somewhat familiar with. Bug's such a weird type. Bug's not a good type. Grass also is not a good type, but Bug's, like, even worse. Like, just because, like, with that's so many common weaknesses with grass types, but, like, Bugs also have, like, that big problem. Which sucks, because I really like... I'm a big fan of my, what do you call it, Bug types. Yeah, Bugs are good against Dark Grass and Psychic, but they're weak to Fairy, Fire. Oh god, hiccup. Fairy, Fire, Fighting, Flying, Ghost, Poison, and Steel. Which is just not a good time. Just not a good time. That's so many common weaknesses. You do not want to be weak to Fire, Flying, and Rock. Okay, they're not effective against Fairies. Some of those are only not effective. But, like, that's just a lot of things to, like, have something be bad against. know what I mean? Makes me feel bad for my bug types. I love them, but man, is that a bad typing. Hippowdon. I don't think we ever caught a Hippowdon or a Hippopo test. I fucking love this Pokemon. Hippowdon's so cool. I just love the giant sand hippo. Dark Ghost? Is that a good type combo? I think that's a good type combo. That's a weird type combo. Like, you have some weaknesses, but I think Dark Ghost would be good. Isn't that Sableye? Yeah, that is Sableye. One second, we're gonna look with type combinations. Here Ghosts, that's not what I'm looking for. Sableye. Sableye, yeah, he's Dark Ghost. Yeah, isn't he like a really good defensive typing? Let's see. He is... Yeah, his only weakness is Fairy, and then like he's immune to normal fighting and psychic, and he resists poison. Okay, that's decent. Like those are some common types to be immune and resist. So, like it's not the best, but being neutral to most things, and then just having some good immunities and like a okay resistance, not a crazy one. Like you just don't see that many poison types in comp. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, no weaknesses till Fairy. Ever used a Sableye. Like, even in comp, I never was drawn to Sableye. I've used one in the card game. That's like it. How's our HP doing on the Floatzel? Okay, he's good. I wanted to make sure we didn't need to, like, switch him out of the leading spot or something. Probably has Sturdy. Watch, he's gonna have Sturdy. Stupid ability. He didn't have Sturdy. Good. What's up, dude? Level 57. Let's start a Hydro Pump. Don't think I want Hydro Pump. It's good damage, but I don't think it's good enough to trade out for that accuracy. Because we're already rocking like the 90 accuracy Aqua Tail. Oh no, I'm sorry, Zizzy. Or you know what? We can go with Hydro Pump and then put on the accuracy increasing. You know what? Let's change up our build. Let's go for Hydro Pump. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. I'm glad that it got fixed. I'm sorry, or I guess lucky for you, you missed all the Pokemon arguing. Well, not arguing, but just like the Pokemon conversation that I know stresses everyone out because no one agrees on anything. Just because that's Pokemon conversations for you. Slightly boost the accuracy of moves. We're gonna give that to Floatstone and get rid of the Metronome. So now all of our moves have better accuracy because now all of our moves have like not perfect accuracy. I like the Pokemon conversations too. I just, you know, it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm aware if people left during that, like, I totally get it. You just made the biggest thing you missed was me getting to my point that I completely forgot to get to, which was one of my things that a lot of people say like you should do for the difficulty in Pokemon would be why did I use Bite? Bite was the wrong move here. Would be just to raise everything's levels for a hard mode and then lower them for an easy mode, and that's how you implement difficulty into Pokemon. Like, nope, that is the worst thing you could do. I do not think you should ever just make numbers bigger or smaller for your difficulty modulation if you do a difficulty selection. I think what you should do is change the strategies used instead. It's more work, but like that is what you should do. Like give a tougher strategy for you, the player, to deal with, because if all you do is make things higher level, yeah, all you're doing at that point is encouraging grinding, which is not solving the problem, you're just making a new one. Making things higher level doesn't make them stronger, it just means you gotta grind more to get to them. It's okay to have things be like a crazy high level as part of the difficulty, but like, if that's the only thing that's making things harder, you've had a problem. Final Fantasy has always done a great job with, they don't really have difficulty select usually, but like, Final Fantasy's battle systems are usually so good that your level doesn't fucking matter if you're good at the game. There's a reason why it's possible to do level 1 runs in those games. Yeah, 50 billion HP, guys, Matt, that's Final Fantasy 12. I'm going to do New Game Minus to where it's a level 1 run of that game. Like, we're gonna do that on stream soon. Yeah, that's Yzmat, and like, the thing that makes him hard isn't necessarily that he has a ton of HP. He does have a ton of HP, but the thing is, like, it's a battle of endurance, not because he's hard, but that's not what makes him hard, is that he has big number. What makes him hard is that, like, there are certain things in his fight that are just like, automating him is a test of your ability to use the game's gambit system. A jump kick. No, we're not gonna go with high jump kick. I think we're gonna stick with bounce. I don't like the recoil damage on high jump kick. What is it? What was I saying? The challenge of that fight is Final Fantasy XII has a system that lets you program the AI of every member of your party. It is a long fight. It is excruciating long, but it's testing your ability on how well you can program your entire party's AI for an endurance fight like him. All of his moves have a chance of comboing and insta-killing. So you need to make sure your team, your party composition is prepared for the worst at every possible moment. And that gets higher and higher as the fight goes on, more likely. So it's like programming it's challenging if you're programmed for that. It's not the best fight in the game, it's really not, but like, it does have more to it than just a lot of HP. Every million HP you take from him, he will use a move that has that's an AoE with a random chance of inflicting stop on each member of your party. So you need to be prepared for that. It's a battle of like, how well can you prepare for like basically some of the worst debuffs in the game, and how well can you automate handling them, and when you are hit by them, you will be hit by them. You are guaranteed you're going to have to deal with this at some point in the fight. How well can you deal with that? I mean, that's what it's famous for, and that is like the biggest thing with it, is it is a war of attrition, but there are little nuances to that fight. It's not the best fight, it's not the most nuanced fight in the game, and it's far from the hardest fight in the game, but there is more to it than just big number. It is a war of attrition. It is a grinding battle that takes a long time. That is what it is, but there is strategy to it. He is weak to dark, so if you want to make that go faster, like, dark character build is very good. Like, dark damage build is very good for that. We fought him on stream during our normal playthrough. We're probably not going to do it level 1 just because that's a nightmare. But he's an optional boss. He is not like something you have to go out of your way to find him, to fight him. He's 100% optional, and we are not going to do that level 1. But it is 100% possible to do him level 1. And that's more of what I mean. Like, it's possible to do it level 1 because those games' mechanics, like, that game has mechanics that, like, it's a lot more about your skill and strategy way before big number. Level really is pretty meaningless if you're good at the game in Final Fantasy 12. We will do a decent bit of grinding in Final Fantasy 12 just to try to get some things unlocked early, to get certain items to sell, as well as like job class points are going to be very important. But I'm very excited to try to go through that game. But yeah, that's my point. Is just like if I did like a Pokemon hard mode difficulty, I would keep everyone the same level, but I would give them real strategies. I really like, that's why I really like Raihan in Sword and Shield. Like, I like that, like, when I saw that he's running a Sandstorm team, he has 2 Pokemon that reset Sandstorm on Switch in, like, as their abilities, and his whole team resists the Sandstorm damage, despite them all being Dragon type. Like, all of his Pokemon are built around, like, Sandstorm. Like, he is running a legit type of strategy that people have used in competitive historically. It's not the best version of that, but he's using a version of a legit strat. That made me really happy playing Sword and Shield. Just that the gym leader had that. That's what I would do with it. That's what I was meaning, what I was trying to get to, and I got sidetracked. Is I really like that the gym leader, that he as a gym leader had a strategy rather than just being like, here's my type, and then here's a Pokemon that uses that type. Here's like 3 Pokemon with that type. Like, I love that he had a strat. That made me very happy. An interesting concept for a Pokemon game. Is it one that's all contests? Because that's something I've always thought of. It's like, I'd love a contest game instead of a gym battle. I don't know what you would do for, like, in between gyms, but I just really like the idea of that. I like Pokemon. Contrary to how it sounds sometimes, I do love Pokemon. I like that Final Fantasy. Fantasy usually has such good combat systems that you can get by without leveling up. Oh, that'd be cool. They're basically like a big like cloud upload of like people's strat at that point in the game, and then that gets put onto a trainer or something maybe. Like I think that'd be a possible way of doing it. Of like, what is this person's team by the time they get there, and then like here's like a trainer on there that will take like, here's like a trainer on the road that will have a random person's team at that point, that are of course within the level that they recommend in case there's someone who's like doing a crazy grind challenge or something. They won't pick from the guy who's like over level 30 for this route or whatever. That'd be cool. I think that'd be like a possible way of doing it. You look like Raihan. Or not Raihan, you look like Leon. Yeah, and I think that'd be a cool way of doing like a legit Pokemon game that would have some challenge to it. Of course, like your challenges will vary depending on like the kind of person you run into, but I think that would be cool. Have the battle tower be that. Have like every time you enter the battle tower, like, do you want to register your team in the tower? And then the team that you register in the tower is just like saved on a database, and everyone gets like one team saved on the database. And it's just all AI people controlling the teams that like get downloaded from the tower. So it's just like, it's basically like PvP, but it's all AI. But then implement that into the world is basically what you're saying, right? That'd be cool. That'd be interesting. I'd like to see how well that would work. That would not be a balanced game in the slightest, but it would be an interesting and fun one. It would mean you would need to prepare your team. I think the biggest problem you would encounter with that is like the problem with competitive games in general. Is just like a meta game would evolve out of it. There would be a meta. I think that's just the main problem. It's like, here's the tier 1, but then bumping into people playing Rogue would always make me really happy. The problem is just like balancing in general. Like there would always become like the tier 1 stuff. But like in the ideal way of that played out, I would really love it. It's just, I know realistic. Sorry, I don't mean to rain on your parade. It just, it occurred to me while I was thinking out loud. I'm like, oh, it would just become like people playing meta, wouldn't it? and then occasionally someone who's cool playing a rogue strat. Well, yeah, it's always one of those things that, like, with every idea, there's always like unforeseen side quests, consequences. Those aren't even remotely the same thing. That like you just don't think about in the moment, and then when you realize it, you're like, oh yeah, that sure would be how that would play out, wouldn't it? There's always side quests, yeah. I'm wondering if we should escape rope. I don't want to escape rope, but Floatstone's gonna fall so far behind on level. Let's give Bunny the egg. I'm trying to get everyone up to level 60. Or we get out of here. I think it'd be interesting, like, just if you don't know what the meta would be of your game, to figure out what it is, though, as it goes on. That's the problem with, like, anything competitive, though, is, like, it wouldn't be competitive, it would be a casual thing, but that's the problem with, like, anything that's, like, turns into some form of PvP. There will always become a metagame that will, like, become the more prominent thing. There will, of course, always be people that aren't doing it. Usually me. Fuck the meta. I play off meta choices and everything. But, like, anything that where there's some layer of, like, even if it's, like, off PvP like that, it would be, there will always devolve into, like, metagame being a common, prevalent thing that you'll encounter over and over and over again. Yeah, exactly. This is my first Pokemon battle. Here's my level 100 Charizard. Well, actually, no, they wouldn't use Charizard, because Charizard's a fucking shit Pokemon. But, yeah, it would be that idea. I love that Charizard is, like, the casual MVP of the strongest thing ever. Like, both in the card game and in the video games, and it's like, he's so shit in every iteration. Charizard's not good. Like, even in the card game, everybody's like, is Charizard still the best card? I'm like, Charizard was always a shit card. It's not even that, like, he used to be good and people are just nostalgic and it's just changed. Like, no, he was bad then. Charizard's never been good. Like, and there's no problem with using him. He has cool stuff that you can do with him. It's just, he's got problems. Exactly, 4 times weak to the very common rock type. That 4 times weakness is the biggest thing holding Charizard back. Yeah, and I totally love beating the game using not bad stuff. That's one of the things I like about Pokemon Story Mode versus competitive, is you can really go through with whatever you want. Like, I'm using a fucking Lopunny. One of probably the worst Pokemon you could use in this game is Lopunny. I really like it though, so we're using it. We're gonna be using Clefairy, who's not great. Look at these horrible stats on this Clefairy. This Clefairy fucking sucks. Its stats are worse than our Lopunny, who is a lower level. Like, oh my god, I did not realize how bad our Clefairy was. Oh my god, why are we using Clefairy? Oh my god, you're so bad. Holy shit, this Pokemon's bad. I knew it wasn't gonna be good. I didn't realize it was this bad. It has Stealth Rock. It has Stealth Rock. You know what? It has stones. We had to give it Stealth. I never realized that, like... Okay, wait, how many Pokemon in our party are kind of shit? Floatstone's okay. That speed stat makes it a decent, like, Pokemon to come in at the end of the fight and clean up. It's a good cleanup Pokemon. Like, it doesn't have the highest stats, but it gets the job done at the end when everything's, like, worn down. That's when you switch it in, and it will outspeed everything. Except for its nature holds it back, but it's got stuff. If we were doing a rain team, it would actually be able to do that better, but we have no other Pokemon that would benefit from rain. Oh. But he's a good cleanup Pokemon. You know what? He's a good cleanup. You know what? Honchkro's pretty good. He doesn't have a great ability, but he's a good Pokemon. He hits like a fucking truck. Same thing with fucking Luxio here. He's got some good stats. He's a pretty good Pokemon. Toxicroak's okay. Toxicroak more suffers from like move pool and like moves than I think, but Toxicroak's pretty good. Dry Skin is a really good ability though. So you know what? Toxicroak's pretty fast. Toxicroak's good. Toxicroak's a good Pokemon. Some bulky offense, not as bulky as Luxio, but it's a good one. It's pretty good. The fact that we gave it Swords Dance, this Pokemon just got dramatically better with Swords Dance. And the Dry Skin means we auto win water types matchups. Yeah, Floatzel. I love Floatzel. Floatzel's great. That's like their actual like lore is their like they rescue drowning people. That's why like its previous evolution form has like the donut floaty around its neck. Like it's actually a flotation device. It inflates. It's like just a float ring around it that inflates with air. So that's actually what it does. Like it saves people. It is. I don't think it's a large intestine. I think it's just an air sac. Okay, you know what? 2 out of our 3 Pokemon are kind of shit, but we can work with that. We can work with 2 out of 3. We need to go to the move person. What we can do... There's something we can do with this. This is what I used to use a competitive one for, is I would use the move Switcheroo, which makes it trade its held item with the held item of our opponent. So because its ability is Klutz, it doesn't have any negative downsides to things. So I would hold like a Toxic Barb or something that would poison when it's held, and then hand the Toxic Barb to our opponent, and then poison our opponent through that and take away whatever their held item is. It's not good, but it's really funny. Lopunny's not a great Pokemon, but it has some really fun little shenanigans that you can use it with as like a support Pokemon. I really like competitive Lopunny. It's not good, but it's funny. The version we're using is Baton Pass. It's just setup. You can just spam Workup, and then Baton Pass that to a different Pokemon, which carries over any stat changes. So you just spam Workup to increase its attack a whole bunch, and then you Baton Pass that on to whoever you're actually going to be attacking with. It's nothing crazy, but it's something it can do. Switcheroo strat is fun and competitive, because in competitive Pokemon, people rely heavily on items in actual competitive Pokemon, so it's really annoying to get Switcheroo. There are no mammals in the Pokemon. Yeah, it's true. It's really weird. Everything just lays eggs. There are no mammals. Yeah, I used to really like competitive Pokemon because there are some fun strategies you can do, but like type matchup is just so strong that I don't like doing competitive Pokemon anymore. Just type matchup is too important to have fun doing like dumb strategies in my mind. It took all the wind out of my sails of it. The trading card game's got plenty of them though, so I still like the trading card game, depending on the format, depending on when you jump into it. There's plenty of room for dumb strategies. But yeah, like for the most part. Yeah, there's no mammals. They come from moo cows. They come from Miltangs, who I love, by the way. It's really funny. Okay. Can we make some progress? Honchkro's such a good Pokemon. I'm trying to think of why he's never... I wonder what Honchkro's competitive history is. What tier is Honchkro competitive Pokemon? I'm gonna look this up, actually. Competitive... I know he's not, like, top tier or anything, because you don't see him ever. Competitive Pokemon... Honchkro. But he seems good. I bet his type matchup is just probably what's holding him back. Like, being so... Like, Dark has some pretty important weaknesses. Like, Dark is not a good defensive typing, same thing with Flying. And he's kind of a bulky Pokemon. He's not like a sweeper or anything. Like, one of his big things is he has average speed. Normally, he holds in there. Actually, his defense isn't even that great. Just ours specifically is, yeah. I can see... You know what? Look, I'm looking at, like, his actual base stats and stuff. I'm looking at the wrong generation. Looking at his like base stats and stuff, I can see why he's not high tier, but he's good. He has good stuff. He's just not... He's got some weaknesses to some things you wouldn't want weaknesses to. He's got good abilities though, like he has Moxie and Super Luck. So if you want to build a crit version, he's got access to things like Night Slash, which give you like a boost crit chance. He has the wind version of that, the flying version of that, which has increased crit chance. So if you use Super Luck, which is one of his hidden abilities, you can build a crit version of him to deal more damage, or you can do what I would rather do, which is build a Moxie. I like Moxie. I use it on my Scaredy back in Sword and Shield. Every time you get a knockout, your attack goes up one stage. I've got some cool stuff. But yeah, definitely he doesn't have enough bulk to make up for his, like, pretty big weaknesses. Yeah, he's weak to Electric, Fairy, Ice, and Rock, all of which are pretty big competitive typings. He's got the Charizard problem. Where the biggest thing is, like, he is a garbage type matchup. He's immune to Ground and Psychic, though, which is pretty good. He resists Dark, Ghost, and Grass, so he's better than Charizard. He's got some pretty good resistances and some okay immunities, but like those weaknesses suck. Those weaknesses are just bad. Oh, that sucks. I love Honchkrow. But yeah, no, he's got some uses. I just wouldn't recommend it if you actually care about winning. I don't know what tier he is, though. This website isn't telling me his tier, it's just giving me his fucking stuff. Honchkrow, where is he? Honchkrow tier. Honchkrow tier. I don't know, I can't find his tier. I also just don't care anymore. Oh no, I just didn't load the page right. Okay. Oh wait, no, the Sword and Shield doesn't have any information on him, but Sun and Moon does. Okay, weird. Yeah, he's on rarely used back in Sun and Moon, and I doubt that changed in Sword and Shield. Yeah, passive aggressive rage. Listen, if I start talking about actual competitive thoughts, that's whenever the passive aggressive phrasing comes out. I'm just honest. Like, if I know my comp stuff, I know my strategy. I just also, you know, being honest. He's good if you don't want to win. Like, you can build some fun rogue tier shit. I think we went the wrong way. I think that's what this guy tells us. You went the wrong way. Yeah, he's got really bad typing. He's got okay stuff in other places, but his typing is his biggest problem. Which, yeah, now that I think about it, like, Flying and Dark both have some pretty crucial weaknesses. And they have like different crucial weaknesses, so they stack and just make you weak to a lot of things that you don't want to be weak to. That's a shame. And I mean, like, you can be weak to certain things as long as you have, like, the bulk for it. It makes sense. But, like, Charizard, for example, he's not bulky. So that 4 times weakness to rock, it hurts. Crap, we went the wrong way. Now we can go south from here. I love this game. Charizard's not that big. Charizard's not a very large Pokemon. He's like people-sized. That's also kind of like a fire type thing. Is like most fire types aren't bulky. There's certain types of Pokemon that have like certain things and like you'll find pretty often. Like fire types tend to be glass cannons. There's exceptions, of course. But most of the time, your fire types, you'll find a lot of ones are very fragile, but they hit like trucks. Water types tend to have a lot of HP. Like water types are usually a good defensive type. Stuff like that. Grass types tend to like have a lot of HP recovery. There's things like Leech Seed, you know, what is it? The Ingrain, stuff like that. Giga Drain. Like grass types are also tend to be a bulkier type. Steel types and rock types tend to be heavily defensive. Mainly on the physical side, though. Like, there's certain things that like tend to be a trend with like certain types. They're not all exclusively that way, but they tend to be trending. Like, yeah, it's interesting. It's just little things you notice whenever you start paying attention to what Pokemon's strengths and weaknesses tend to be. Polion, interesting. Maybe I can just Night Slash him, right? Steel? Are we weak to Steel? I don't think we're anything to Steel. Maybe just Night Slash him. This is a Mega Man boss. Not a very tough one. Honestly, I don't really care about who's our leading person in the underground anymore, because I just remembered that Victory Road's kind of going to be a lot, so I shouldn't really be worrying about that. You should just worry about getting through. Let's go up here. We've already lost one Pokemon, which sucks. Do we have a Revive? Maybe we have a Revive. We can revive Floatstone, because he's fallen behind on level because he's been knocked out this whole time. Leaf Stone. We do have leftovers. We need to just, like, re-go through, like, all of our, what do you call it? We need to go through, like, all of our items and stuff. I guess we could use that. Where would... Oh, Revives would be over in Medicine. Why have I not used this? We need the XP on you, buddy. Well, he's not that far behind. He was running pretty ahead on level, so... Let's move him up. Okay. We need to get the idiot. Push that. Push that. Push that. We go Dark Pulse. I wonder if Dark Pulse would be good on Honchkrow. No, Honchkrow's physical. Right? We're building Honchkrow physical? Yeah, we're building Honchkrow physical. Is he good special? He's okay special. Who's our best special? 48, 30. I guess he's our best special, too. I think I can... Both of our physical moves are the same type. I think we need to get rid of Thief. I don't even know if he can learn Dark Pulse. I probably should have checked that before making this decision. Swagger, Surf. Haunt, no. Dream Eater, no. On my no. Dark Pulse, there we go. Let's use it. I'm surprised by how much special attacking moves we have on this guy. As we didn't put very many physical. We can do Pluck. It's rid of like a really... I think I like our current... But then we get a physical one. We can give him Steel Wing. But that gets rid of like his only other stab move. Flying type. It's so weird. Such a weird Pokemon. The biggest thing is I don't know what to prepare for. You know what? Air Cutter's not impressive. That's not that great of a move. Yeah, critical hits land more easy, but we're not building crit. So maybe Aerial? No, that's priority. Oh, wait, where'd that move go? Or Steel Wing. We can go for more type coverage. Anything that we need to worry about Steel for? I guess kinda. I don't know. Increases our bulk, which is pretty nice. Well, you know what? I think Fly. I think we're gonna go for Fly. Can U-turn? Oh, Bunny can learn U-turn. Bunny already has Baton Pass. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with Fly. It gives us another physical move to actually use our fucking busted physical stat that we have not been using. Learn Fly. There we go. Alright. I'm not afraid of you, Grappler. You're no one. You're no one to me. It's my fault. I want my phone. Give me. Oh, that's not how I log into my phone. I log into my work thing. That is a phone. Just needed to make sure I didn't get any messages or anything. Good. Nope. Here's the message. Okay, we good. It's just a Graveler. We can... we'll preserve the Shadow Ball. We'll use a Dark Pulse. We have the glasses anyways. Dark Pulse gets its love. What is over here then? I thought that would have been the way up. I guess not. I am terrified of accidentally walking off this ledge. We are going to use the D-pad. We walk slow with the D-pad and precisely. I think we're getting close to the end of Victory Road. This looks like the kind of thing you would start encountering it towards the end. Dragon Tamer on a bridge. He's got a Gibby. Where do you find Gibby in this game? I don't think we've seen one. Night Slash? I know what Gibble's good is. I know they're like physical attackers. I don't know their defensive stats for Garchomp. I don't use Garchomp ever. I know they're a really good Pokemon. buff. Just don't ever use it myself. Okay, there goes our physical attack. Fine, we still have all of our specials, so we can Dark Pulse. Probably could have just switched, honestly. It's fine. We got the bolt. What's our levels? How's Bunny so far behind? You have the egg. I guess because she's not leading. And we can just Dark Pulse again. I think Dark Pulse will do it. Yeah, you're Gibby egg. Got it. Okay, we did make it. Really glad I chose not to. I didn't choose to go back. I was really tempted to maybe go back, but we're good. Yeah, that wasn't so bad. It's a really good animation. I love the animations of the stuff in this game. It's funny. Ooh, a Landsat Berry. I don't know what that is. But we made it. We made it to the Elite Four. Are we ready? So we can try and see. Of course, we're gonna need to, like, change up some stuff in our party. Let's see what items we got to hold and all that. Okay. Here to buy. What do you got for me? We're not gonna be catching anything. We need full restores. Let's buy 20 for now. Let's buy... Don't need any max repels. Is it just full restores and revives here? No max revives? We need 150. Buy 50 of those. Maybe we'll buy like 20 more of these. We're gonna spend a lot of money on these. Other than that, like, do we need full heals? Oh, we may as well get the full heal. We won't need a ton of them though, so we'll only buy 20. We're good. I think we're set up for the league. All right, let's set up our team. Let's just give it an item. So currently it's holding the... Put it back in our... Okay, so let's give him an item. What's for bird? Held item. Where's the held items? Money stuff. I don't care about the money stuff. For bird. I think we might have just had it with the black glasses boost power to dark type moves. I think that might be it. I think we had it. Our flying type moves. We use dark more. Dark's gonna be like our main attribute for him. I'm just tempted on the leftovers. Like, do we lean into the bulk? If we do that, we should do it on someone more bulky. Critical hit ratio. No, we're not building crit. Yeah, I think we made the right call originally with the blind glasses. Okay, float stoat. I'm pretty happy with the accuracy boost. That Starlight. That's very specifically for boosting electric moves. I don't think I have anything else I really want to boost. No, I think that's good. Brittany, you can hold on to something actually good instead of that. The thing is, Shellbow restores a little HP every time it attacks. We can go for the Fist Plate to boost our fighting type moves, or we can go for the Big Root, get more from our HP ceiling moves, aka our Drain Punch. We can give her Leftovers to be steadily restored throughout every battle. I'm thinking Leftovers. I'm thinking of leaning a little bit into the bulk to like mitigate the amount of damage we're gonna take with our Sword Stance. So I'm thinking we should go with the Leftovers for Brittany. Leftovers is just such a good item for... Sticky Barb is dumb. I don't know why I'm holding Sticky Barb. Starlight, you're not good. I don't even know what to give her. Bunny, I need to hand you an actual item. An extremely good item. What are you talking about? Charcoal, Whitestone, Jam Brownie too. What's something that we want to give our opponent? Do we have anything we want to give our opponent? We have the Poison Barb. Oh, that's not the one. There's one that, like, poisons someone if they're holding it, and that's not it. Oh, this is the one. It damages the holder every turn and may lash an opponent that touched the holder. I don't like that, because then I can pass it back, though. I don't think we have anything that I think is particularly great, because we do a lot of physical attacking, so I don't want to crash into it. We also don't have Switcheroo. We'll just keep holding the egg and just get XP, I guess, because it doesn't really matter. Plus, it's a painful ability. Same thing with you. I don't know what to give you. I guess Quick Claw? Quick Claw to occasionally go first? You ain't very fast. Sure. Quick Claw, move first occasionally. Get rid of the amulet. Yeah, Toxic Orb, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, we don't have a Toxic Orb. We also don't have Switcheroo. I think that's it. I think we're ready. I think this is the team. Don't remember the order of the elite. This is Gen 4, yeah. Alright, let's lead with Stealth Rock, I guess. Let's do this. Fucking hell, Barry. Sorry, it's Baby Barry. I forgot that we have to fight him real quick because he's a dingus. Okay, let's go with Stealth Rocks. Would prefer if we can just like roar and force him to switch out, but fine. Problem is the AI doesn't switch out that often. Okay, let's switch out for our electric type. We do not have a roaring Clefairy. We don't have anyone with a roar, sadly. We can teach someone Roar, but it's not worth it. It would be Luxio, and it's like, at that point, it's just like me. Let's Spark. Close combat. Nice try. That's gonna cost you your bird. Did it hang on? Focus Sash. That sure is a bird with a Focus Sash, isn't it? What's he gonna do? Nothing. Alright, I'll take it. Alright, the nice thing about using Luxio is we have Volt Switch, so if we don't like what he switches into or we have something better, we have a free switch out, basically. Snorlax. I think we're fine against Snorlax. I think we can keep in. I think what we just need to do is charge and then Spark again. Guess we can Volt Switch. We can Volt Switch into someone with a fighting move, but... Okay, we have to Volt Switch. We're gonna fall asleep if we don't. Never mind. We can't afford to lollygag here. It was boosted. It was boosted from the charge. That's useful. I think this will be like our best opportunity to get in Bunny, so let's run her in. But it's Stealth Rock. Did we put out Stealth Rock? Let's work up. I don't think he has a good matchup here, so let's get some of these stats in. Unless he has a fighting type move. We can Baton Pass. Yeah, we need a Baton Pass at this point. We're not gonna fall asleep. We'll just jump back into our guy we were before. Going right back to Luxio. Kicks Happens has got this. God, this guy's such a jerk. Trying to put me to sleep. We're gonna have to throw out our first lead. He's gonna be able to switch into whoever he wants, which is annoying. Yeah, we'll go with Brittany. We'll start doing the not Snorlax, the Swords Dances. Rose Raid. Are we worried about I don't think we're worried about Rose Raid. I don't think we are. I think we're neutral. The fighting side of us isn't good against Rose Raid, but I think we're still fine. We're gonna get 2 Swords Dances in. That's a problem. What are you holding? Black Sludge. That's one of the moves that you can use to switch stuff. Grassy Train. I'll take it. I mean, you're making me bulkier too. I like Grassy Train's good for my Pokemon as well. We chose to start with Chimchar, so he should have Piplup, right? So he has Empoleon? So I think we have a... Well, Empoleon's a weird matchup because it's Steel type, but it's also water. I'm in such a weird spot with that. Let's Sucker Punch. Yeah, it's really good. It's such a cool Pokemon. Alright, I think we got this in the back. We have 2 Swords Dance set up, so we have just like all of the... We have all the attack stat boost. Them letting us have that was the biggest mistake he could have made. Paralysis might screw us over, though, actually. Okay, and then the Drain Punch should do enough damage to where we get healed up a good amount. We are on grassy terrain, so we get healed. We also get healed from the Drain Punch, and we get healed from holding leftovers. So we should be back to full health. Yeah, I think we gotta. I think we're gonna sweep it from here with Brittany. Just felt like getting rid of the paralysis. That's fine. We did beat Chill Penguin. I'm not afraid of Chill Penguin. Rapidash. Oh yeah, pointed stones. That hurts, doesn't it? I think we're... Are we faster? I don't think we're faster. I think we're just gonna stick with Drain Punch. Yeah, and then we can recover from the damage we take from this move. And we're gonna hit like a truck, so I doubt Rapidash will survive. Rapidash is not tanky. I don't know who he has left. I don't know who the rest of his team is. Burned. The burn is kind of annoying because it's gonna lower our attack. Heracross. Okay, that's interesting. We have poison though. Yeah, we're still doing okay. Our attack isn't as high though now that we're burned, but I think yeah, we still got it. The 2 Swords Dances. If we can get 2 Swords Dances off, we hit like nothing else in the game. Well, because normally most moves that are buffing for yourself only make you go up by 1 stage or down 1 stage. Swords Dance makes you go up by 2 stages of physical attack. And that's a lot. Like, if I look it up, how much is a 4 times multiplier? How much does Swords Dance increase attack? Alright. This is for Gen 1. This is not current. Launch Crow, what? That's not what we're looking for. Okay, so yeah. Well, this is old information, but apparently if you get the +4, it's like a ×3. This is like Gen 6, I think? It can't be that much different if it's changed, though. It's a lot. Basically, it's a lot. It's a whole fucking lot. Okay, now we're ready. That's why, like, Swords Dance is one of the best, like, sweeper setup moves in the game. So typically, like, if you wanted to do, like, old Baton Pass strats, you would put Swords Dance on, like, a really bulky Pokemon that has Baton Pass. You would just spend turns, like, stacking up those. And then once you get that done... Oh, you! I think I'm fine with this team order. I think Clefairy's good. And then you just Baton Pass onto your Speedy Sweeper like a Greninja or some shit. Maybe set up a Stealth Rock just to get their HP down a little bit. there's a bug member of the Elite Four in this gen. I'm not against it, I love my bug types. I just don't know if this is the right gen to have a bug Elite Four member. Stealth Rocket is. Quick Claw, we got the first move. Thank you. Alright, we got the most important thing done. Setting up defenses. If we can, I'll try to sing. Toxic. Alright, that's fine. I don't plan on keeping the fairy in. Fairy's not good here. Alright, we got the two things we want off. We can use this to pivot into someone who can do better. What's strong against Bug other than everything? Oh, we have a bird. We'll just use our bird. I don't think he'll have anything that'll be good against our bird. At least nothing that'll matter. Bug Pokemon. Just another Dustox. Okay. Oh no, wait, I switched out, not him. That's not how that works. It's not how that works at all. Yeah, we are using Fly, which is gonna be annoying, it's gonna take so long. Let's see. So... yeah. Oh goodness gravy. I think this is our best thing. Yeah, this is our best. Alright. He should be a cakewalk. I'm not worried about him. As long as we don't get, like, paralyzed by anything. Nice! Nice dodge. I didn't think we were going to get outsped by a Heracross. I guess Heracross is fast. I know we're not, like, speedy, but we're pretty average. Way more. Why are you holding a flame? What? Man's holding a flame orb. Well, it's dead now. Okay. Pointed stones. We outspeed. Going for the Bug Buzz. Yeah, I think we have the sweep. I'm not too worried about this. Vespiquen, that's one of my favorite Pokemon in this gen. Not very good, but it's a fun Pokemon. It's got some moves. It's got some spice. You can teach it, like, unique moves, like Attack Order, Heal Order. Heal Order is pretty nice because it's just a self-heal, which is not something that, like, a ton of bugs have access to. At least not good self-heal. But also, like, self-heal on a piece of glass is gonna get shattered no matter what you do. You're just gonna cut off his Wi-Fi. He'll fall over. He'll lose contact with the audience. Drapion. Wait, what? Does that change anything? I don't think that changes anything. I think Fly's still the way to go. I got worried for a second, and I'm like, what does this change? And I'm like, I don't think it changes anything. I think it's just Poison Bug. I think we're fine. Oh, he tanky. No, we outspeed you. We'll be fine. We don't outspeed you. Rude. No, we got this. I think it will come easy. Yeah, he's down. I didn't see anything about your bug type Pokemon.
You did nothing. You used Toxic on one of them. You just fucking swept. I'm sorry, guy. I respect it. I love him. You didn't do a job. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. Don't even need to do the thing, but I'm going to anyways because I spent a lot of money on him. See you later, nerd. I wonder what his strategy was. I think he was trying to go for like a poison strat, but we just didn't let him. Earth and ground types. Oh, I should not have opened with Stealth Rock. Don't think Stealth Rock is gonna do anything, right? Pretty sure ground type just absorbs it? Let me look up Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock. I know Steel types do. What? That's just not a thing? I could have sworn that like ground types absorb them or steel types absorb them or something. Oh. Okay then. Yeah, the places in here look really cool. I guess we'll use stones. Like, it's not gonna do a ton, but like, even that little bit sometimes is all we need. It is all these gym leaders open with Toxic. It's a lot of poison that we're dealing with. Why is everyone Toxic? Alright, sing. Got the Quick Claw, he dodged because it's not a very accurate move. Question is, what do we have that's gonna be like something that can deal with ground? Yeah, or they play LOL. That is not a thing that I stuck with for very long. Okay. So she's a ground type gym leader. Oh my. Who do we switch to? Is this gonna be the time for Floats to shine, maybe? I mean, I know Ass. Is it gonna be Ass? Let me look up ground type. Oh god. Ground type Pokemon. What are ground weak to? Is this gonna be flying again? Okay, so they're weak to grass, ice, and water. Okay, so Floatstone's time to shine. Yeah, I don't know why I forgot water. I was like second guessing myself. I mean, this one here is a water type, so I don't think it'll be as good, but I think we'll be fine. Damn it, I can't believe he woke up. What was the whole point of me putting him to sleep then? Alright, does Quagsire have water absorb? I think he does. I think we should go with Bite? Yeah, I don't think we can use our water type moves, actually. I think we should have gone with someone else and then switched into it. Need a pivot.
We need to switch out. This was a horrible mistake. God damn it, now we're poisoned. He's immune to electric, which is annoying. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna switch out. We're gonna take this guy out and then deal with him with water. Yeah, this guy's kind of a problem. I should have thought of that before I switched in. Alright, we're immune, because we're flying. Oh, he's holding leftovers. What if... Dark Pulse. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's more physically defensive than he is non-physically. And then our Dark Pulse has not only stab, but it also has our Dark Glasses on, which increases the power of our Dark moves. So while it's not our better stab, which is our physical attack, it's still really good, and we have like a ton of multipliers on it. On Dark type. This guy's a bit more of a problem. I think we can still take him. Let's switch out. Let's see if this can work. We're probably gonna lose him, but I want to try. I want to try to give him his time to shine. Yeah, he's weak to water. It's just the toxic damage is gonna start racking up really fast. So like Float Stoat's not really gonna be in a great spot no matter what. I don't want to use up all of our water moves right away, so we're gonna save the Hydro Pumps. We couldn't buy ethers at the store, which I thought we could, which is kind of a pain in the ass. There goes that. You're up, Brittany. I guess it's Brittany's time to shine. Sucker Punch. Because it gives us priority. I thought we would have done more damage than that. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna Drain Punch. Yep, that was the smart move. Actually, I should have Swords Danced. I didn't... Swords Dance would have been perfect. Well, we're back up to full health anyways, so... Okay, super effective. This is up to 183, Sudowoodo's down. Yeah, I love Sudowoodo. He's very funny. Alright, I think I just gotta stay on the offense. I gotta keep on using Drain Punch, if not, we're gonna get knocked out. I don't think we have the bulk to be able to withstand many hits. Yeah. I think we made the right choice. What do we do? Now we're reaching the point where we have a lot of Pokemon that are not fantastic. Dark Pulse, we're gonna get, yeah, I was gonna say, she's gonna full restore. We'll take advantage of it and just start hitting. We're not going to be able to OHKO because it's sturdy. Hopefully we can outspeed. We can outspeed, so that's good. Gosh, it's another water type. Man, she really doesn't want anyone hitting her with water. We just Dark Pulse. I think we just gotta stick with it. I'm pretty sure these are still physically defensive Pokemon that she's using. That hurt. That hurt a lot. Just gotta stay aggressive. Night Slash. What does she got left? Out on. I think this is just ground? Sandstream is kind of annoying. This is her last Pokemon. We need a Dark Pulse. I think it's physically defensive. Cool. You did a good job. Now we're at a problem, though. All we have is Bunny and Shinx. Bunny's just a bad Pokemon. And Shinx is electric type. Ooh, yeah, Asshat put in the work. We just need to bounce. Yeah, good job, Asshat. Rest. Oh, is she Chesto Resto? Oh, she's Chesto Resto, isn't she? Yep, there it is. Fuck, if I knew that, I would have used Workup. We messed up in the beginning of this fight. Yeah, we messed up from the start. The second that we lost Floatstoat by our misplays in the beginning of the fight, we gave up. I just realized that Starlight's still... I didn't realize she was still alive. I didn't realize this. Can we sing? Can we land a sing? Damn it. We're gonna lose the poison. I was hoping that way we would use Sing, knock him asleep, and then that'd be a free switch out on the same turn. But sadly we didn't land, so now we're just stuck with our electric type. Which is not great. Yeah, this isn't good. Let's go. Is it gonna be like the Steel type gym? No, this is nothing like the Steel type gym. That was her last Pokemon. Hey, how's it going, Bubbling Beach? We're doing good. We made it to the Elite Four. Oh, those are my joystick. Those are my triggers on my controller. I was wondering what that clacking was when I wiggled my joysticks. It's all fine. That was part of my controller. Oh, I guess we go again. Actually, where do we buy ethers in this game? That's kind of important. We need to find some. Yes, I know how it works. Where is it? Can't buy it. Where can I buy the max? Huh. You just can't buy them. Okay then. Guess that's just our situation now. Well, I guess we go again. Family visiting, that's exciting. At least I hope that's exciting. Plans for tomorrow? No. No plans. Avoiding the world. That's my plan. Alright, so we know what to do. We'll lead in with Ass Hat and we'll just sweep. Yeah, I'm just gonna vibe. Okay, so in this gym, we already know we can just completely sweep it with Fly. Like, this guy's easy. We have no problems here. We only messed up on the other because of a really bad start. Sorry, I hit my face on the fucking microphone. I moved where it was. And I'm not used to it yet. Did we miss? Okay, expel the poison. I was about to say, are we gonna lose the fucking Dustox? We're gonna get toxic. We're fine. As long as we actually land these attacks anyways, we're fine. But yeah, this whole gym, this first Elite Four member is just gonna be spamming Fly, honestly. Like, we really have nothing else we can probably worry about. Right? Rock Slide, I forgot about that. There's one thing. I always, god damn. Alright, let's send in someone else. He outspeeds us, so I don't want to risk that. We'll send in someone else. Okay, we're not sending in someone. What else do we have? We have Bunny. This guy literally didn't do anything to us last time. What happened? That's right. Hang in there. Why did he not give us any problems last time? What happened? There we go. Good job, Bunny. Yeah, see, we're just spamming Fly. It works. Oh, just keep doing it. Going for the sweep. Yeah, your planet needs you. Focus Sash? Or did you just get lucky? She just got lucky, damn. That's fine. Bunny did a good job. Bunny did real good. Where's Ass Hat? There he is.
So next, we just use why? Oh, full restore my ass. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. That's really impressive that that beauty fly survived that. Well, I guess not that impressive. It is a lot funny. It's not like they hit particularly hard. Too nervous to eat berries. Good thing we're not holding any berries. Yep, we dodge it. Oh, it survived. Oh. We're about to lose someone. Alright, you did good, asshat. It's all good. You can't sweep them every time. Floatstoat, you're up. We're just gonna Swift. I don't want to waste all of our water moves. Acrobatics. I'm expecting that. Damn it! Stop taking pictures. We'll restore. Fuck. Well, that's not good. Alright, maybe we use Bite. Wait, no, don't you resist Dark? Never mind, that was dumb. This is bad. We need to switch to someone. We need to pivot to someone who's actually gonna do something. Alright, we just need to end this. Yeah, we just need a spark. Okay, come on, take it down. Still up. Paralysis, that's a speed loss. Alright, and we're still good. Another spark should do it. Cool. Right, he has a Drapion for some reason. He has an Earthquake. Alright, who's next? Floatstoat and Brittany. I think we're gonna go with Brittany. We should not have gone with Brittany. Oh no! This is bad. We might actually lose to the first guy. Holy shit! But this was so easy last time. He gave us no problems last time. What is happening? He gave us no problems our first time through. Holy crap. I think we lost. I don't think we can take him down with Floatstoat. It's poison. Oh, hung in there. Alright, we're gonna have to OHKO with the Hydro Pump. This is gonna have to kill in one hit. How is this Drapion so fast? Why was Drapion such a fast Pokemon? Holy crap. What is he doing to us? I was not expecting this to be kicking our ass, not in the first guy. I was expecting later once we start, like, running out of resources and stuff. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom. Sorry, I zoned out. I'll be right back. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, have you never seen Space Girl? He's kind of like my branding thing. OC person. He's also all of the emotes. Well, not all of them, just most of them. Just those ones. Yeah, she's cool. I came up with her in high school and I brought her back like a couple years ago. Yeah, I like Space Girl a lot. She's cool. Her color palette is completely NES accurate. Not on the emotes. The emotes I use the Sega Master System color palette, but all of her normal color palette, like in this art, is all 100% like NES colors. And NES capable. There's some fun facts for you. Yeah, that's the emotes are. I like playing with limited color palettes from like consoles and stuff. It's interesting. One of my favorite aesthetics of like a classic type of PC console thing is the what was it, the PC-98 in Japan. I'm a big fan. There's some beautiful graphics on that console. Okay, we should have this. As long as that Heracross doesn't do anything crazy. Oh, the PC-98. It's like one of those Japanese, like, old DOS era type things. I really like it. They did some really cool graphics on there. Oh, you really blinched. That flinch is really what's killing us. Who do we switch into? Who are we willing to sacrifice? That's the question. Yeah, the PC-98 is cool. I really like it. There was just a lot of good artists who worked on that console. And a lot of indies and stuff. But it was all like Japan stuff, so most of it you can't even play. I just mainly know it because of like aesthetic and stuff. Sadly, I've never been able to play any. I don't speak Japanese. Alright, what do we do here? I guess just Poison Jab for like the neutral damage. Why is Heracross so fast? Yeah, there's probably a few. It's like notoriously like difficult to emulate though. Like it's notoriously like extremely difficult to run. To run like properly and well. That's the main problem. I love the animation for Bounce. It is hilarious. There's a Twitter page that I follow, PC98 bot. They just post screenshots from like tons of different PC98 games pretty regularly. And it's just, I love looking at it. I mean, it's probably not impossible to. I bet you it's like, I bet you I can figure it out if I put in the time and effort, but that takes time and effort. I also don't know what games I would want to play on it. It's mostly like visual novels and stuff. Point and clicks, stuff like that. I'd have to find one that I'm really curious about. love to get into like some super retro like that era stuff though. I'm really curious. Vespiquen. I mean, as long as we're still alive, I'm just gonna keep using bounce. Oh, I should have used workup. Shit. When I use defense order, it's like the perfect opportunity. Paralysis is good. Yeah, I mean, I love that kind of stuff too. I'd like to pick them up and learn them and all that if I could. I think Police Knots is on there. Isn't Vegeta's getting Police Knots on there? Isn't that like a thing? Yeah, I love seeing old retro stuff. It's interesting to know what people were inspired to make back when people didn't know what they were doing. I find it, I really enjoy that. What berry are you eating? Why are you so bulky? Nerd. I'm surprised we haven't died yet. How is this Vespiquen still alive? We are out of bounces. Yeah, like, we all know about roguelikes. How many of us have actually played Rogue? I haven't. I need to play Rogue. I want to play Ultima. I want to play, like, old Ultima at some point. I want to play the Portopia murder cases, which was, like, the first, like, the real first game by the guy who would later make Dragon Quest. Like, before that he made, like, Love Match Tennis, but that doesn't count. That's Love Match Tennis. We'll just keep on using Spark. Keep it up. Keep killing it. This got more dangerous than before. But I'll have to, if I remember to, I think I'll have to look up into this. Charge. I'm gonna risk it. Oh wait. I think he has Earthquake. Oh, he hung in there. Damn it. Oh, fuck. He's not going to be able to get his next attack in. He's not fast enough. He doesn't have the speed to get the spark through. That's not good. Okay. What are we up against? What do we got here? This thing. It's gonna hurt. Fuck. I want to get him worn down before we go in for the fly. But, nope, he's still faster. How fast is this guy? Yeah, we must have gotten really lucky with that first attempt. Holy shit. Let's go Aquatail. Bodestoke can brace it. Nice. Go for another one. If we're lucky, or not lucky. Alright. 1v1. We're both wounded. I think he's faster. Hang in there. What is happening? What is this Drapion? No. 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 Alright, I think we're gonna call it here. And then we'll come back and do this next time, and we will actually take down the Elite Four. That sounds like the plan. I'm getting kind of hungry, and I don't want to wear out my voice, so I'm gonna go now. Let's find someone to raid, though. And somewhere to send y'all. Thanks for hanging out, everyone. I had a good time today. It's a good way to spend a day that you don't know what else to do on. Let's send y'all to Sargoto. Starts playing Mario Party Superstars with a bunch of people. Bunch of friends. Yeah, go enjoy the chaos. It's a good group, good people. Send them some love. Have a good one, yo. Merry Crunchmas.